different this time. See if I can't get this bad boy set up. So I'm struggling to get my phone to sit steady like it's supposed to. Hopefully you guys can see pretty well. I'm still working without good lighting, but got a new microphone. I'm standing in front of my collection once again, but I thought I'd do a general live stream. My actual silver play button came into my brother-in-law's house this morning, so I'm kind of going to wait until you guys, maybe a few more people get in here. See if I can't get this phone a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, there we go. So me and my wife have been discussing setting up like a full space for me to have my fragrances a little more spread out and do a real background. But yeah, I thought I'd do a little live stream this morning, say hey to you guys. I just tried out something different here on this channel, which I knew wasn't going to do so well, but I just wanted to try. I played some Call of Duty for a little while. I am not good at it, but I like playing video games from time to time. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to work at making the overall quality of my videos going forwards better for you guys. For anybody who ends up watching, I want it to be more entertaining and better sound. And I want my videos going forwards to be, like I said, I'm getting my silver play button in today. So, well, I'm not getting it today. It came in today at my brother-in-law's house. Things can't ship to where we live very well. So I got it coming in, and I'm excited to do an unboxing video for you guys. But I thought, you know what? This is my channel. It's done well enough so far. I want to really cultivate a good community here with the people who follow whatever I do. We communicate with each other, and we have a good relationship. I want to have a good situation where you and me can talk if you watch the things that I do. Because I want to have, if anybody follows me, if anybody subscribes to my channel, I want you to feel free to ask me whatever you want. And I don't want to have subscribers who are just here. I mean, like, I'd rather have 10 subscribers if they like to communicate back and forth than have 1 million subscribers where we don't get to really, talk and see how each other are doing and just kind of talk about fragrances, talk about life, whatever. So this morning I tried to stream a little Call of Duty on here, but I didn't think that was going to go super well because this isn't a gaming channel. But, I thought I'd give it a shot. And I want to apologize ahead of time. I got time. I have a few hours before I have to go do anything today. So I'm going to be hanging out for a little while here and just answering your questions. If anybody wants to know anything, hopefully if somebody can let me know, anybody who's watching, if this new microphone is too loud, if it sounds okay. I didn't spring a whole lot of money on a microphone just yet. I'm going to. This channel, the subscriber count kind of grew pretty fast, honestly faster than I would have liked it to. And I know that might sound crazy because anybody doing YouTube wants your channel to have subscribers, right? But to be completely honest with you, I got like a bunch of subscribers from like just random countries and stuff because a few of my videos like did pretty well. But then like it doesn't follow over to the rest of my videos. So people haven't really been watching things the way I'd like them to. And if you're going to start a YouTube channel, if anybody out there is considering making YouTube videos, I just want you to know, please don't do the whole TikTok thing where you're like, I want a video to go viral. I want things to get millions of views. You do, but you want to have a follower group, or you want to have subscribers who actually like stick with you and check out the stuff you do. So that's what I'm going for here. And I realized, you know what? Only perfumes that are worth La Male Lime. You got any buyer's remorse? To be honest with you, if you're asking about like, do I have any remorse about like having all these as a whole, then no. If you're asking, do I have any fragrances that I have remorse for? Definitely. There's a handful of fragrances that I've bought. There's a bunch actually that's like not really for me. And another thing, people like me who do videos, like have a YouTube, TikTok and all that stuff, who like have a collection for the sake of having videos having fragrances to talk about. It's good to have a lot. But to be completely honest with you, you see a lot of these reviewers and creators who try to tell you, you need to have this big collection. But actually, it's worse when you have a lot of fragrances. Me, I try out different ones each day just to get a feel for it, just to be able to do an honest review. I'll wear like different fragrances each day just for the sake of being able to tell you, does it really project? Does it really work well? But a lot of times, I like to try my fragrances on like friends and other people because, to be honest, you as a person are only going to really connect to so many fragrances. So having like even 10 fragrances is a little too much to try to actually connect to, because you really won't. And I mean that in the sense that when you pick fragrances that feel like it's you, like fragrances that are like your thing, it's because the scent profiles connect to your soul. I don't know if you guys believe that you have a soul or your spirit or whatever. And if you don't, that's fine. I don't like, again, I'm going to talk about how I feel, what I believe on my channel. We can get into that if you ever want to ask me questions. But I believe that there's more than this, that we're not just flesh and blood. No offense, or not trying to argue with people who think that we're just flesh and blood. But I believe that fragrances, just like other forms of art, connect to you as a person. So if you're going to wear something, it should be something that really speaks to you. And so when people are like, you should have a huge collection, you should, like I said, I only have most of these for the sake of appreciating perfumery and for doing reviews, because otherwise I wouldn't have all this if it wasn't for that. So for me personally, I don't have buyer's remorse because I have all these, because I get to do videos and hopefully they continue to connect to other people out there and give me a reason to have this community. But in the sense, like, what do I wear personally? There's only about like 10 or maybe 15 that really speak to me, that I can wear at different times of day, different times of the year, whatever. Kind of like, this is going to sound kind of silly. Anybody who tuned into my last live stream, this is YSLY. This is the Eau de Parfum. And I never, ever, I love this fragrance, but I never wear it except for one time. And that is towards the evening when me and my wife are about to snuggle. Because when she first smelled this, my wife said this was her snuggle smell. So it might sound silly to you, but again, it's my channel. I'm going to be honest. So my wife said this is the snuggle smell because something about it's soothing and calming. So I have this. I'm never going to get rid of it, but this is going to last me forever because I don't wear it except for when we're literally about to snuggle at the end of the day. So if you're going to own fragrances, it shouldn't just be because it's popular. It shouldn't just be because it's the hyped up fragrance right now. That's a waste of money. And again, unless you're doing reviews and stuff, it's a waste of time and resources. And I don't like TikTokers and YouTubers who are just like, buy this, you got to get this. It's the best thing. Real quick, by the way, the person, Fall of Neo, who asked me, La Mer de Parfum, Arabian Tonka, Dior, those are your most fave. That's awesome. Super happy you love those. My favorite of the La Mer line is actually La Mer Elixir. The new La Mer Elixir Absolute, pretty good, but I prefer the original La Mer Elixir. And in descending order, I would say La Mer Elixir is number one for me, then La Mer de Parfum, then Elixir Absolute, then the original. But right now, I absolutely love Le Beau, Le Parfum. I got that up here if you guys want to see it. I recently got in Hadlaj Island. So a lot of people are talking about this. And again, I'm not into hype fragrances. I'll get, whatever's currently popular so I can do reviews and talk about it and stuff. Obviously, it's like good for the algorithm. But I will say, this actually does a really good job comparing to the original Le Beau Le Parfum. So for the price range, I rate it pretty well. But yeah, and also you don't like why, but you're right. Yeah, see, for me personally, this isn't something that I normally just grab for. I do like it, but it's not something I just go jumping for. Ultra Male. So I will say this, Ultra Male by Jean-Paul Gaultier is a fantastic fragrance. I don't own it. I had it, gave it away. It wasn't bad. It's just a little too youthful for me. Was this person, you ever bought something that had been hyped only to find out it was a redundant purchase? Actually, to be completely honest with you, yes. I've got a handful, like a lot of fragrances that are super hyped are hyped for a couple of reasons. So one of those reasons is because it's currently like circulating. Maybe people on TikTok or YouTube are being sponsored to sell a certain fragrance. So just as an example, not to be crazy or anything, but I'll go with this, okay? This is Hamra Kawa by Latafa. You will find a lot of creators are like getting sponsored or getting sent free fragrances from Latafa or companies like it, like Hot Lodge. And that's okay. If people, I'm not getting it. I haven't gotten a single free fragrance. Everything you see here, I purchased. But when people get things, okay, and they get them for free, a lot of the times people aren't going to be straight up honest and say, yeah, this is kind of okay. Or it's not. There are TikTokers and YouTubers who are honest, but there is a lot of people who just want to get followers and views. So they're like, yes, this new thing that everybody's talking about is the best thing ever. So some of them, like this one, I'm not sponsored, and I'll tell you, I think this is amazing. This is currently one of my favorite fragrances just because I love the sugar cookie type of feel that it has. It's like a snickerdoodle, to be honest with you. I like this even more than the original. But yes, there is an incredible amount of fragrances that people say are amazing just so that people will buy them. And, this person said boring. Hey, that's okay. If you think that my live stream is boring, that's fine. If you're talking about me, because you don't have to watch. Like I said, I'm going to talk about whatever I want and welcome people to my channel, because if I'm going to have people subscribe to me and watch my videos, I want it to be, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And again, no offense to anybody. I'm always going to answer you guys' like questions and comments and stuff. But yeah, always the same fragrances. Literally, like what you see on TikTok, what you see on YouTube, it's like everybody's pushing the same stuff. And I'm not going to lie, as somebody who's trying to grow my stuff, recently I've been talking about Hawass Black, Hawass Fire. Today, Rasasi Hawass's elixir is coming in. And I'm going to do a review about that. Because I literally just the other day was comparing Rayhan's elixir to Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lamel elixir. Just because, again, it is the current like popular thing. So people are talking about it. I ordered Rayhan's Crimson today. It's coming in. So if you want your channel or TikTok to grow, then yeah, you're going to talk about whatever is popular. It's really difficult to post videos about fragrances that are not currently trending because people won't watch. So you're kind of pushed into a hole if you are doing a channel and you want to grow and have audiences and fans and stuff. You got to talk about whatever's cool. But I don't want to just do that. I want to talk about whatever I feel like talking about, right? I want to entertain you guys and I want to connect with you and build a community. But I don't do this channel, just to be popular. I do it because I want to connect to people. And I don't have a lot of people in my personal life who love fragrances like I do. I just want to have other people who think it's great. Can you please tell me the last thing of Imagination perfume? I don't personally have Imagination perfume, but I do have a friend who does. He said the performance is just pretty okay. To be honest, there's a lot of those very expensive fragrances that don't last the way you'd like them to. Today, my fragrance of the day is Percival by Parfums de Marly. And to be straight up with you, it performs and lasts great. But I have a brand new bottle of Latent Exclusive by Parfums de Marly. And this is a brand new formulation, brand new bottle. I'm going to be straight with you. It doesn't perform anywhere near the way you'd like it to. And sometimes that's going to happen. People spend a lot of money on fragrances and they're just not that great. Louis Vuitton fragrances, I'm not going to hype you guys up. They're not the best performers in the world. Speak more about rare fragrances. What's the sweetest fragrance a man can wear? I'm going to try to get back to you. Can you say hi, May? Hi, May. You are honest and real. I appreciate that. Appreciate you for saying that. What are the top 5 perfumes of the summer? Okay, so what time is it right now? First of all, it is 7:37 in the morning where I'm at. And I will also say hey to anybody who ever asks, just throwing it out there. Top 5 fragrances to wear for the summer. If I had to tell you, again, now this is just my opinion. So everybody's opinion is different. I would honestly say this is a very classic for me. This is obviously played out. Everybody talks about this all the time, but it's going to be always one of my favorite fragrances. Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue, Eau Intense. Originally, hi Maisie, she's my sister. Hi Maisie. Hopefully I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't, but hi Maisie. But Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue, Eau Intense. This is one of my absolute favorite fragrances of all time because when I first got into fragrances, I don't know if you guys will know what this is. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, but so Marc Jacobs Daisy, that's a classic. But also DKNY Be Delicious. There was a green apple fragrance they had. That was one of my mom's, and she used to let me try that all the time, and it made me so happy. I thank you for letting me know I said Maisie's name right. Hey Maisie. But when my mom took me to Ulta for the first time, it was either Ulta or Sephora, and she was like, hey, let's get you your own fragrance. She said, pick out your favorite. I sniffed and sniffed and sniffed. At the time, I was a little too young to appreciate certain things like Versace Eros. But I smelled the original Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. And I don't know what it was about Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, but it hit me. Made me super happy. I fell in love with it. I've always been a big fan of the beach. I grew up 2 hours away from the ocean, so I used to go all the time with my mom and my family. So anything that reminded me of the beach was like a big thing for me. And Dolce & Gabbana's light blue, the original, used to be so magical for me, but it doesn't last as long as you would like, which is fine because it's not that expensive, so you can burn through it. But when I found out about light blue intense, I went crazy because this one actually does do very well performing. So I'm sorry, I talk a lot. I get a little off track. So you asked me, one of you guys asked me about my top 5 for the summer. So if I had to be completely honest, and it wasn't just discussing what's popular, I think light blue, intense, unless you want to just do the original, because there is a difference in the fragrance. But if you want to do the original light blue, that's great. But if you want to do something that has a little more lasting power, a little more earthy, I would say light blue intense. And then let's see, good fragrances for the summer. Honestly, Percival by Parfums de Marly's fantastic. Hands down, favor of the blues. Absolutely do. Eric, it's fantastic. Percival by Parfums de Marly, fantastic summer fragrance. I don't like Creed fragrances. People say they're overhyped. Being straight up, they are. Creed fragrances don't perform very well. I've tried Green Irish Tweed, Milsime Imperial. I hope I said that right. I have a full bottle of Silver Mountain Water, and I even recently tried out Sillage by Club de Nuit because it's supposed to be a comparison. It smells close enough, but again, they both kind of don't perform that great. And then I've tried the original Aventus, and I have a friend who's got Aventus Absolute. Just being straight, they're not that great. They don't perform anywhere near what you'd like them to for the price. So those aren't that great. But as far as just like a scent for like a relaxing morning, though, reeling it back in, Silver Mountain Water by Creed is a cool, if you like have the money, only if you've got the money. If you don't, get the Sillage, I guess, by Club de Nuit. But yeah, so Eros Energy or just original Eros Parfum or Eau de Parfum, great summer fragrances. Dolce & Gabbana. Honestly, this is a really good summer fragrance, depending on if it's your thing, but I recommend you go to a store and try it out first. And Swifty, absolutely, dude. I love the beach so much. My brother's here now. He's your biggest fan. He wants to say hi, May's brother. Hi, May's brother. Appreciate you watching. And like I said, anybody who ever wants me to say, hey, I ain't nobody special. I'm not, a famous person or nothing. So if anybody ever wants me to say, hey, I'm fine with that. So thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me that anybody even cares about what I'm doing, because I just started. That's awesome. Hey, buddy, I started this channel because, again, I've loved perfumery since I was a kid. Like, it was an escape for me. I had a pretty rough, like, physical childhood. So perfumery was a way, like, I go into my mom's collection and just like sit there and kind of smell. I know that sounds stupid or weird to some of you guys who haven't heard me talk about it before, but like, just like people listen to music to escape, I would like smell perfumery or go outside, smell flowers, or just smell things in nature like honeysuckles. And that's how I would kind of feel better if I was like not doing so good. And again, I want to create a space here on my channel. If anybody's going to ever follow me, and if you don't like what I do, that's okay. That's fine, dude. But if I'm going to have a community on my channel, it's because I'm just being honest and talking about my life and wanting you guys to do the same thing for me, because mental health, belief, faith, spirituality, whatever, those are like some of the most important things about being a human being. And I think that we kind of try to brush that off. Like, people are too busy worrying about politics and stuff. I'm not going to argue with people about that stuff, because that's not how we connect as people. Coming together is how we connect as people, right? Connecting. But here, like, for me, I didn't have the best childhood, but it also wasn't the worst. Some of you out there probably went through way worse than me. But again, fragrances is kind of how I escaped, and it brought me joy. As an adult, getting into fragrances and stuff and kind of experimenting and learning new things, I realized there was a whole community out there. So I started this YouTube because I myself started looking up reviews. By the way, it's Matthew. I'm May's brother. Hey, Matthew. No problem. Absolutely. Good to notice you guys. Good to say hey to you guys. Thank you for watching. It means so much to me. But and anybody who doesn't know, by the way, my channel is called Douglas Moon Fragrance, but my name is Andrew Douglas Lane. And so the middle name mixed with moon, because me and my wife, we love the moon. Again, that's just our thing. We love moon art, whatever. So that's where the name came from. But hey, buddy. Hey, thank you guys so much, like I said, for watching. But yeah, so for me getting into fragrances and why I did this channel, like, I'm going to talk about fragrances that I don't personally even like, just because if I think they're well done, if I think they were made well. This is one of those. This is for the summer. K by Dolce & Gabbana. Dolce & Gabbana does like a great job making summer fragrances. And K by Dolce & Gabbana, I don't even really like the bottle all that much. I did a video recently talking about it being really good. And it is a good fragrance. It is. It is. I like this. It's just not for me. It's not exactly my style, but that's just because there's something about the sweetness to it that I don't like. Personally, like I wouldn't wear it, but I see why people would. And this is like really great for the summer if you're just looking for something fresh and bright that's citrusy, but in a different way. So K by Dolce & Gabbana, really good summer choice. And here's another fragrance. And I'm sorry, I don't know the notes for this, but Paragon by Initio. I try this out, and I actually do wear this from time to time. This is an amazing, fresh, bright fragrance for the summer. So I would say definitely if you've got the money to spring for it. Matthew gave me a phone back. It's weird for me, but do you like Sol de Janeiro? A little, but that's not weird for a man. Here's another thing, just throwing this out there, you guys. Wear whatever you want, man or woman. If you like fragrances, if there's a fragrance that speaks to you, I wear a lot of rose fragrances because they are some of my absolute favorites. And my wife, she works with flowers. If any of you guys didn't see my last live stream, my wife does flower preservation and she works for a flower distributor. And she always has. So when I think of flowers, I think of my wife. So I like to wear floral fragrances because it makes me think about her. So wear whatever you want. Like Yara by Lattafa is a woman's fragrance, quote unquote. But I smelled it the other day. I got it from my wife originally. And honestly, I love it. I wear it. It's Mega Mira summer fragrance. I don't know. I'm never going to tell you guys that I've smelled a fragrance if I haven't. And I'm not going to lie to you guys and hype it up. But no, don't be sorry. Ask me whatever you guys want. Anytime you got a fragrance you want to know about, ask me. I'll just be honest with you if I haven't smelled it or not. Because I don't want to sit here and tell you something's awesome or bad or whatever if I've never personally smelled it. But yeah, just saying, a good summer fragrance is definitely Paragon by Initio. Because this is just like a lot of Initio fragrances. Super long lasting, super powerful, very strong. But it's just beautiful. It's... something about this is just different. If you've smelled like a lot of different fragrances, especially at the store, you'll notice if you get the chance to check this out, it's a little unique. It's kind of like Side Effect by Initio. I actually think this would be a good summertime night fragrance. Like if you were going to go hang out by a campfire or just hang out with friends by the lake or something like that. I actually think Side Effect. Also, again, an expensive one. How many Initios do you have? Right now, Gili Kime, hopefully I said your name right. Sorry if not. I only have 4. I've tried out the whole line at Saks Fifth Avenue, but I only own 4. I own Initio Oud for Greatness Neo, Paragon, and Side Effect. I want to get Atomic Rose and Blessed Baraka, but these are the only ones I've got so far because these guys are expensive. And definitely my first thing before I started buying more Initios that I wanted to do, if you can see, I got this whole shelf that's like all Xerjoffs and all Amouages because they just I smelled Naxos, I smelled 40 Knots by Xerjoff, and they drove me bananas because I absolutely love them. And I was like, I want to see what else Xerjoff has to offer. So Opera, Torino 21, 22, 23, all that stuff, I had to get my hands on them, and I love them. One of my top favorite fragrances in the entire world is Xerjoff Naxos. Are you into Argos? I highly recommend it. I've never smelled Argos. So again, like, Andrew, all my brothers are here now. Hey guys. Hey, Matthew, Malik, Maxwell. Hey everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. And thank you for even commenting and stuff. To my buddy here asking about Argos, never smelled it personally or any other things by their line. Because even with like the fragrances I have here, I think I've got like 115, something like that. There's still like thousands of fragrances that I've never smelled, and I hope to one day. But again, I'm not getting sent free stuff. So if I'm going to buy things to do videos for and kind of build up my backlog, I got other things I got to take care of too. I got 2 kids, me and my wife, got a lot to take care of. We got a brand new home. So I love the tattoos. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I actually haven't gotten any new tattoos in a long time. It's been probably about 9 years since I've got anything. I want to. My wife is also an artist, and she's been drawing for a very long time, and she's drew some things that I'd like to get done. But tattoos are expensive these days. Very, very expensive. I'm glad you guys are all excited again. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I also want to tell you guys I'm sorry for my lighting being so bad, but again, my channel kind of started growing a little quickly in different ways, so I haven't Just literally like my first ever microphone, and it isn't in the best shape. But again, I'm just doing this live stream because you guys are welcome to ask me whatever you want, and I just want to connect to you guys and kind of build a bond here together. Your phone cracked. Oh no, I'm so sorry about that. And to my other buddy here, okay, Triumph of Bacchus and Danae, I definitely want to check those out. If anybody has any fragrances that you'd like to suggest for me, please feel free to do so. And hello there, Be My Shankar. I don't want to say your name and say it wrong and like be disrespectful because, I personally, if people say my name wrong, that's fine. I don't care. But if anybody ever says my name wrong, that's okay. But I don't want to say you guys' names and like offend you or anything like that because I just want to be respectful. But one more summer fragrance that I think is absolutely amazing because, as you know, I love Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue and Light Blue Eau Intense. But this one, on the other hand, is a blue fragrance that's completely different. To me, Light Blue Intense kind of represents their whole, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a more traditional men's summer oceanic fragrance. This one, 40 Knots by Xerjoff, this is like a whole different level of oceanic fragrance to me. This is like real true sea notes. So if you was to get Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue because you wanted something a little bit more user-friendly, this one will take you to the next level if you want to get a little bit more rich. This has like true aquatic sea notes. It almost, some people say this has like a chlorine type of scent to it. And I know that probably sounds gross, but if you've ever been around a pool or like literally near sea rocks, like where the ocean's splashing against like stones and stuff when you're near the water, that's what this makes me think of. Do you think that there are perfumes that go well for going out with friends, like something fresh? Absolutely. So good fresh fragrances for going out with friends. If you literally just want something that's for like a night out, I would say, honest to God, the original. So I've got Eros Parfum. I know a lot of people like Eros EDT, like Eau de Toilette. Eau de Parfum is fantastic. I don't really care too much for the Eau de Toilette, but I love the Parfum. It lasts like forever. Super powerful, super strong. And it's just, it's like a fresh woodsy feel. And I know that sounds like, fresh and woodsy. So maybe you want something more aquatic, more citrusy, but this is just gorgeous. So I think this is like a perfect night out fragrance to go out with your friends. But even though it's a little bit hyped up right now, I definitely recommend Eros Energy to people because it's a good price, pretty decent price. I'm going to get on that. Absolutely. Also, your dad's awesome for loving Paco Rabanne. My friend over here, Swifty, Paco Rabanne. I don't wear it very often. You can't see it because it's down at the bottom, but I have like I've been given and also have a bunch of bottles of Paco Rabanne 1 million elixir. And it's just like an awesome, I don't know exactly. It's like a sweet fragrance. Very awesome, sweet fragrance. Lasts forever. Be very careful with most Paco Rabannes because they get stuck to you. So if you end up not liking it, like you're in trouble. But Versace Eros Energy, very good. What do you think about the inexpensive Armouth Club de Nuit? All right, I'm glad you asked me that because the only one I own at this moment is Club de Nuit Sillage. And that's just because I really wanted a decent, cheaper take on Creed's Silver Mountain Water. Also, again, like I said earlier in the stream, in case nobody heard, Creed's fragrances don't last very well. They just don't. So save your money. But for me, I don't really like the Club de Nuit fragrances too much, like Club de Nuit Intense and all that. The things that are supposed to have the Aventus DNA. I'm not like the biggest fan of the Aventus DNA, although I know everybody's bananas, like Coco Melons about it or whatever. I just got the other day. Don't want to break stuff, do I? That would be really terrible to do on my stream, but I just got this in the other day, the Hawas Black, and it's supposed to be that kind of take on it. If I had to say like who's got the best woodsy lemon scent, for me, again, this is just me and my wife's personal opinion, but Eros Energy kind of takes it to the max because it's just like a very sweet lemon candy feel with the woodsy. But to be real with you, I just got in the other day Amir by Latafa, and it's supposed to kind of be that vibe, but it's just not really my thing. I also got Cedrat Bois Intense by Mancera, but this, for the price and like the performance and everything, I think this or Eros Energy is going to do you really good. Club de Nuit doesn't really do it for me. Just being completely honest, no offense to anybody, but their line is just not the best. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. This is random, but do you have had anxiety because me and my sister go through it. Oh yeah, no, I deal with anxiety like all the time. Like I said, here on my channel, I want to have like open discussion about anything and everything. So even though it's mostly about fragrances, I want to really build a place where we can talk. I'm not a therapist or a professional, nothing. I'm just a dude, a dad, and a guy who loves fragrances. But I will answer your questions about whatever you guys ever want to talk about. I deal with anxiety every day in some form or another. And at the end of the day, it's not the easiest thing. My wife goes through a lot of anxiety, especially at her work and dealing with her job because life is busy. But no problem. Like, one of my things that I think is the best about being honest on the social media world about how we feel as humans is because a lot of the time people feel disconnected these days, right? A lot of time people feel like they don't get to connect to other people with what you're going through. And when you see like your favorite artists, like musicians or whoever, talk about their things they suffer with or their pains and emotions and stuff, to me, that's kind of always how you feel more normal. So that's just my thoughts. How old am I? I'm 32, or I will be 32 in a few weeks. I go through it really bad every day. What's your best fragrance of all time, strictly for men? Ooh, best fragrance of all time, strictly just for men. So I'm going to tell my other buddy here. By the way, Swifty, just want you to know that you please understand going through anxiety every day. That's totally normal. Like, a lot of people might act like having anxiety is an unusual thing, but everybody has it, even if they're not honest about it. Everybody's anxious like all the time, wanting to impress other people, wanting to make sure you make the right decisions and all that stuff. Believe me, again, I'm no professional, but I'm sending like so much love to you. And just please understand that just to start with, it's okay to feel anxious and to be worried. Just take a deep breath and focus one little bit at a time on doing all you can do, because that's all you can do, right? But what's my best fragrance for men of all time? And you're welcome. I would say, if you want me to be objective, it's tough because I can tell you what my favorite fragrance is, but I can't tell you like what anybody else would agree is the best men's fragrance. But if I had to say best men's fragrance of all time, I'd say I wouldn't be able to really just peg one down. I'd have to just kind of go across the board. But my favorite fragrance is Reflection by Amouage. It's Fart Miss. Okay, I don't know if you meant to say that or not, but if you just wanted to hear me say that out loud, or if that's a real word. If it is, I'm sorry. But Fart Miss sounds kind of like a funny name or funny word, but no offense if that's like an actual fragrance and I just don't know or whatever. But if you just wanted to hear me say it, I'll say it a bunch more times. But Reflections by Amouage. Oh, okay. So it is a real thing. I apologize. So no offense to anybody who's Russian or who likes that fragrance, but and maybe one day I'll smell it just so I can do a review. But yeah, Amouage's Reflection, absolutely incredible, incredible men's fragrance. Again, Naxos by Xerjoff is probably like, you cannot go wrong with this. If you've got the money to spend, this is one of the greatest fragrances I've personally ever smelled in my entire life. Naxos by Xerjoff is powerful, lasts forever, like doesn't stop. It just keeps performing. Totally kidding, bro. Dope collection. Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for watching, by the way. And I appreciate you. And like I said, anybody can ask me whatever you want, comment whatever you want. But yeah, Naxos, dude, by Xerjoff, one of the absolute best fragrances of all time. And currently as well, I highly recommend, if anybody likes tobacco fragrances, if anybody's interested in a good tobacco fragrance, and you want something a little bit different, a little sweeter, get Royal Tobacco by Amouage. Again, a little bit more pricey. We can go down to cheaper stuff if you guys want to talk about that. But dude, no joke, this is a very interesting. It's like, and I don't mean this if you hate licorice, just throwing this out there, but this is like a licorice tobacco sweet delicious fragrance. But again, like most Amouage, is absolutely insane with performance and projection. But dude, this brings me like oceans of joy. My wife, ironically, even though I thought she was going to hate it, is crazy about it because she isn't a fan of Interlude, even though that's one of my favorite fragrances. What about Alexandria 2? I'm glad that you asked, because I've got 2 bottles of Alexandria 2. Going to be honest, if you haven't smelled it before, I don't know if you're just asking my opinion, but if you haven't smelled Alexandria 2 by Xerjoff before, don't blind buy it. I would never tell this to anyone as a safe blind buy. I don't know if you have anywhere near you that you can try Alexandria 2, But I'm going to be real. It's a tough one to get into because the scent profile is very distinct, very different, and can be kind of rough because it's very niche. So a certain type of person you have to be to appreciate this. And it grew on me. When I first smelled this fragrance, I absolutely hated it. And that's just being real. And I didn't force myself to like it. I just kind of had a little bit of time and exposure, and I hadn't smelled anything like this before. So you got to be a certain type of person, or maybe like more Middle Eastern oriented or Indian oriented, and have more exposure to that type of scent profile. But being real with you, when I first experienced Alexandria 2, I hated it. Now it's one of my favorites. And again, I've got 2 bottles, but it's also very expensive. So please do not blind buy this fragrance, no matter what anybody tells you. But somebody also just asked me EDT or EDP for Dior Sauvage. Now, a lot of people online want to stand the Eau de Toilette because it's the classic. But if you're going to spend the money, please get the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum is the safest buy for most people. I personally used to have the Eau de Parfum, but I gave it away and got the Parfum. But to be completely real with you, the Eau de Parfum is the safest buy if you're going to get Dior Sauvage. That's how I feel about K Intense. It took me a while. Some of these fragrances will really do that for you. But just to finish, Sauvage Eau de Parfum is like the safest buy of the whole Sauvage line because it's super powerful, good long lasting, even the current formulations. But you also can get a lot for a good price. But at the same time, the original is just a little too basic. Sauvage Eau de Parfum knows perfect. It has everything you want out of it. I prefer the Parfum, but it's a little bit more mature. And you're welcome. By the way, just letting you guys know, you guys don't have to keep watching, or you can come and go. I'm just throwing this out there. And if you guys don't want to stick around, I am going to come back. I'm going to be talking for a very long time because, like I said, I have a few hours of time this morning. I'm going to keep answering your questions. So stick around if you want to. I'm going to be gone for about a minute or so because I got to use the bathroom. I drank way too much coffee this morning. So know that, yeah, I'll be right back, you guys. I'll see you in just a second. Feel free to stare at my collection. Okay. All right. Thank you so much to everybody who stuck around. I'm back now. I'm sorry for having to go do that. But again, I drank too much coffee this morning. And I kind of do that every day. That's sort of the excuse for the fact that I'm getting old. So got to use the bathroom pretty frequently. But anyway, like I said, anybody is welcome at all times to ask me any questions you would like to about fragrances, about life, whatever. And I'll do my best to help you guys out or to just answer anything you can. But again, I'm not like a professional or nothing, just a person who loves fragrances. But I will say, I want to take a moment to talk about this because I've fallen in love with this fragrance. I tend not to suggest super expensive fragrances for most people. I'll do reviews about them. So again, your Xerjoffs and Amouage, Parfums de Marly, a fragrance line that I really hate talking about only because they're just so expensive for what you get. And that's Tom Ford, even though there's some fragrances that I love from Tom Ford. But Maison France's Kirkjohn or MFK, who makes, Baccarat Rouge, I got over here, they make Grand Soir. This particular fragrance, if you do ever get the chance and you've got the money to spend and you're looking for like one of the most elegant, amazing fragrances you've ever smelled in your life, this is in my top 5 fragrances of all time, along with Amouage Reflections Man, Amouage Interlude. I love the freaking Xerjoff Naxos 40 Knots. This fragrance right here, this is Oud Silk Mood Extrait de Parfum. So if you've got the money and you are wanting to get yourself something very fancy, something different, and you don't like oud fragrances, just letting you know, the oud in this is like a very back note, almost like a subtle bacalog to go with this. But this is mostly like one of the most wonderful rose oriented. It's an oriental to start with, but it has a very beautiful rose type of vibe to it. And this is one of the most longest lasting, strongest fragrances that I've ever come across. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get super powerful, cheap fragrances that last forever. But I just want to take a moment to talk about this because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. This is not necessarily like targeted for the summer, but when you think of spring and when you think of part of summer, you can get a little bit of that floral, like flowers are blooming type of vibe. This is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever smelled in my life. And I'm grateful that I have this. And I don't wear fragrances that cost too much very often because on a day to day, if you're like me and you're not just rolling in money, you want to save what you can. But this is one of those ones where I really want to grab it like all the time. But compared to a lot of fragrances where in reality, if you want it to last all day, you need like, 6 sprays. You could literally do 3 of this bad boy just on the neck, shirt, on your wrist or wherever you want, or the back of the neck. And it goes forever. So if you've got the money and you ever want something a little more on the pricey range, and you want something that's floral, like maybe rose oriented with just a hint of like an oud accord in the background, I'm telling you, Oud Silk Mood is probably one of the best fragrances that I've ever smelled. So I just wanted to throw that out there because some of the other MFKs, like Grand Soir, people talk about this a lot in the fragrance community. Like Ray Shrimmerd, they had this when they were doing their like essentials that you can't live without. So this became like super popular, even more at sometimes than Baccarat Rouge. But this one's just doesn't do a whole lot for me. But Oud Silk Mood is one of the greatest things that I've ever smelled. So I just want to toss that out there. Also, Alex Warren. I actually don't know who that is. Let me look that up real quick. This is like my old phone that nowadays I just use for downloading like music and stuff so I can save space on my current phone. But let me look up who Alex Warren is real quick. A singer and songwriter. Oh, okay. All right. I'll take that. Singer, songwriter, and YouTuber. I appreciate it. I don't know any of his stuff, but thank you. And let's see, Evan. Hello, Evan. Thank you for popping in here. You know what I just realized? It says that when somebody's name pops up, it says such and such said hi. I don't know if that's for real or if it's telling me to say hey, but hey everybody. I appreciate you guys. Joe Jack, hopefully I said that right. Hello. Thank you guys so much for watching. So again, just throwing this out there. Hey, Andrew. Hello. I appreciate you guys. But just throwing this out there again, I'm Andrew Douglas Lane. This is my channel where I review fragrances to anybody who's new here. I don't just talk about fragrances, though. I talk about everything, whatever, I want to, because again, as I'm building subscribers, I want you guys to know that as I make videos, I want to just be real. I want to talk about my life. I don't want to just, have people here and be fake about things. I want to just talk about whatever comes to my mind and connect to people if I can. My favorite Azzaro. Ooh. The Gold Most Wanted, I think. The Elixir? I don't have any personally. I don't have any Azzaro fragrances. I've just got friends who do. I haven't bought any yet because I've been trying to like build up like a specific type of collection to do my videos based around. And my dad's just come over and he loves my collection. Hey, Tony. Hey, Tony, May's dad. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for appreciating my collection. I appreciate that a lot. And then back to Jay. Yeah, and also Joe Jack, thank you for letting me know it's a real button that people can press. But yeah, my favorite Azzaro, I think it's the gold bottle for sure, the most wanted. They're all pretty good. They're just a little, not necessarily my style. It's just like recently I did a review of Spice Bomb Extreme by Victor and Rolf. It's pretty good. I can see why people love it. Decent enough performance, but some of those fragrances like from the mall that you go to are not really my style. I know that's not the fairest thing to say because some of my favorites is like Armani Code Parfum, which is like Armani Code's like a super basic, everybody knows what it is fragrance. But there are some fragrances that just really don't do it for me. And some of the Azzaros or like Victor and Rolf Spice Bomb collections just not exactly my speed. Which again is funny because Versace Eros Parfum is one of my favorites. But yeah. I have a lot here, and sometimes it's hard to remember. And that's why I was saying earlier, like, don't just buy fragrances just to have them. Don't just buy them because they're popular or what everybody's talking about right now, because truly, you will regret it at some point when you just go sniffing and you're like, there's a, honest to God, like I said, most of these are just for me to have for videos. I almost never grab any of these just for my own personal usage because they don't speak to me. And owning anything is to speak to you. Do I have any pets? If so, I actually do not have any pets. Not saying this for sympathy, but this past year, before we moved, our dog did pass away. So we had a pit bull, and she was my best little friend. But unfortunately, she was not doing good. We adopted her when she was first like a little puppy. Apparently, she had been chained up outside and abused and not taken care of. So when we got her, she had been she wasn't good with other animals. She was very sentimental, would like take care of you, protect you, and watch over you. But she just had health problems her whole life. We had her for almost 6 years, and then she just wasn't doing good anymore. But it's okay. We've already worked through that. I think about her a lot, and I miss her. But we worked through that. And at the end of the day, I know that she's like way better off now. Just a side note, like I said, I'm going to answer this person real quick. What would you say is the best rose fragrance for a man who's not used to that smell? I got you real quick. I'm going to come back to my dog, but I do want to say best rose fragrance for a man who's not used to that smell. I've got a couple, and it depends how much money you want to spend. If you're willing to spend a little cha-ching, if you've got the money set aside or you got them tax returns, I would say Rose Incense by Amouage is a beautiful but earthy, musky, mildly smoky, but mostly just earthy and musky, beautiful rose fragrance. I say beautiful, I don't mean that to turn you away from thinking it's for men. It is a masculine men's fragrance. But Rose Incense by Amouage, one of my absolute favorite rose fragrances. If you've got the money, it's in like if you get it from discounters, I believe you can get it for like 300 or like, no, at 250, something like that. If you've got even more money to spend and you're looking for something like super powerful, it's going to last a long time and you don't have to use much of it. I was just talking about Oud Silk Mood by Maison Francis Kirkjohn. But if you don't have a lot of money and you just want to save some, this is one I just got very recently. I'm going to show you two. One of them's not made for men, but it is fantastic. And if I say this company's name wrong and anybody here is from the United Arab Emirates or something, please take no offense. But this one is Rose Mystery Intense by Al Watania. It is not the most masculine fragrance in the world, but I'm telling you, people will love this. I've been trying this out. This was like $30, and I've been trying this out lately, and it's like an amazing, amazing rose fragrance with a little bit of like bitterness to it almost, but it's fantastic. So one more time, Rose Mystery Intense by Al Watania. If you're trying to save some money and you want a decent rose fragrance, let me think. One more that I'm going to show you. And again, this isn't targeted towards men, but it smells amazing. It honestly smells very similar to the Rose Incense by Amouage, but Mancera's Roses Vanille. I think this was $90, something like that. This is a fantastic, like if you want a good rose fragrance that lasts forever, this is the way to go. So hopefully if you want me to rehash that list, I can do that for you, my friend. But definitely really good. Let's see. You have Sauvage Elixir as well. Of course, you may ask, my friend. And here it is. Sauvage Elixir is one of the first fragrances that I ever bought when I started adding to my collection. It's fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Like everybody knows a strong cardamom, strong spice blend. This is one of those ones where you really do have to be careful with it because it's explosive, lasts forever. Like you've got to want to put this on you. Don't go crazy with sprays for this, please. If you get Sauvage Elixir, and I'm going to show you guys something I just filmed a review for the other day. I haven't posted it yet, but I filmed a full-length review for this. If you want to get a cheaper alternative, and again, I don't always tell people go for the cheapie because that doesn't always mean it's going to be good. But if you want a cheaper alternative to Sauvage's Elixir, but you want nearly literally pretty much the exact same smell, and also pretty decent, not as good, but close enough performance, Gisada. It's a Swiss company. Gisada's Ambassador Intense. You can even see like the little bottle was meant to be like an imitation, basically. This, no joke, smells pretty much identical Hello, Uyen. Uyen, hopefully I said your name properly. I'm sorry if I didn't. Um, but Ambassador by Gisada, Ambassador Intense, make sure you get the Intense. The regular one smells completely different. But this smells, no joke, almost identical to Sauvage Elixir, and it is like powerful, very strong. And I think in comparison to Sauvage Elixir, which is like $260, something like that, Gisada's Ambassador Intense is like $80, especially if you get it off a discounter. I want to get my hands on some Mancera. Dude, get you some Manceras. Like, some of the fragrances are a bit overhyped. Like, no offense to anybody who's watching, please don't get angry, but I'm just telling you guys the truth. Mancera's French Riviera sucks. That's my thoughts. I hope I don't start seeing people watching drop like flies. But I like Mancera. I have blued notes, oud blue notes, Mancera's oud blue notes, and Mancera's oud lemon mint. I've got those two. I'll show you. They both have this same bottle right here. These guys are fantastic. So hold on real quick. YSL Myself is the number one in your collection. Just want to throw this out there, Seth. Thank you for watching. And I got to tell you, I love the YSL Myself line. My wife loves it. I don't own any, but I love, actually, wait, that's a lie. I have a little sample thingy that I haven't done a video for yet. So I got YSL, the Eau de Parfum, I think, but it is amazing. They're great. Everybody can enjoy them. They're mass appealing. So if that's your favorite, hey, dude, that's awesome. I think it's great for the summer too. Which is the most expensive fragrance? Teller Boy. That's your name, I believe it says on here. The most expensive fragrance or the most that I have? If you're talking about the most expensive that I have, I'm going to have to go out on a limb here and probably say Baccarat Rouge. I don't even have like the biggest bottle that you can get, but this is the Baccarat Rouge Extrait de Parfum. I believe that this might be the most expensive fragrance that I have, but I actually totally forgot to recommend this when my buddy asked about rose fragrances that can be masculine. This is like a creamy vanilla smoky rose or musky rose. This is Ardent by Boadicea de Victorious. I'll try to see if I can show you the name right there. This is an incredible rose fragrance right here, but this company makes fragrances that are like excessively expensive. They have one that's called Blue Jasmine. I think that's what it's called. No, it's Blue something, Blue Sapphire. But that fragrance by this company, Boadicea the Victorious, even on discounters, is like $700 for a bottle this size. And that's just ridiculous. You want to know why it's ridiculous, my friends? Because I'm going to be straight up with you. Fragrances, if you study and learn anything about fragrance note materials, I work for a company who provides candle makers everything that they need to get their hands on to make candles and produce. Like we supply for big businesses, and I'm surrounded by actual raw materials that get used in actual perfumery every day. And I want you guys to know, the companies who charge extreme amounts of money for perfumery, they are charging you for the name, for the time, and so forth. But a lot of these companies charge so much it's sickening, because there's not a single material in that perfume, in that fragrance, that deserves for them to ask $500, $600, $700, $800. They're just doing it because it's popular. And people out there will pay that money. But I'm telling you, most likely, nobody needs to be spending that much money on fragrances. And please, I try to tell people, don't get suckered into wasting all that cash. Have you tried red tobacco? I'll tell you what, my friend. I'm glad that you asked, because one of my current favorite fragrances that I've been rolling through is Intense Red Tobacco by Mancera. And a lot of people have been talking about this one, so I know it's popular on social media, but I'm not bringing it up because it's hyped. In reality, this is actually really awesome. And you want to know what this reminds me of? Let me take a pause real quick. Sorry for being all over the place, but I want to be like, show you guys love and give you guys good talks here. So my sister just come back from pickleball practice. She wants to ask if you've ever smelled the Ariana Grande perfume. I don't know if you're talking about the Cloud, but I just want to take a pause real quick to say, not to lose any of you guys, one of my best friends from work, Zakia. Zakia, if you ever end up watching my stuff, I'm talking about you. She calls me Juju because that's what they called me when I was a kid. My friend at work, Zakia, she wears Ariana Grande's perfume, and it smells fantastic. So if you're interested in getting it, my friend, my little buddy, it's great. Ariana Grande's Cloud, or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. But it smells really good for a woman's fragrance. But back to it, my buddy. Intense Red Tobacco. This reminds me an awful lot of another fragrance that's super popular. Let me put these away real quick. The Sauvage Elixir. One more time, if anybody's interested in Sauvage, try this out. If you want to save some money, $80. Gisada from Switzerland's Ambassador Intense. Smells basically just like Sauvage Elixir, but for a fraction of the cost. But back to Mancera's Red Tobacco. It reminds me so much of this. Carlisle by Parfums de Marly. It's not like one-to-one identical. So there are definitely differences. This, when you first smell it, almost smells like mildly burnt pie crust, but not like a bad, yucky way. But Carlisle by Parfums de Marly, great fragrance, but just like the rest of Parfums de Marly, super expensive. But I do love it. I just don't wear it super often. But on the dry down, because it has a very similar note profile, on the dry down, Intense Red Tobacco smells extremely like Carlisle. And personally, again, just trying to help you guys save some money. If that's what you want to do, if you're looking to spend the real cash and get the real thing, go ahead. Don't let none of us stop you, but also don't let none of us encourage you to do things you're going to regret. But this baby right here, dude, Intense Red Tobacco, like covers that ground. Also, the atomizers. I don't want to spray this one because I don't want this smell at my nose today. So I'm going to pick another one because I just this morning I put on Percival. It was my fragrance for the day. Let me know if you guys, by the way, who watch my stuff would like to see me on like do shorts or something doing a fragrance of the day, because I'm currently trying to do TikTok. I know I'm about to be 32. I'm probably a little too old to be doing TikTok. But a lot of people are telling me in the fragrance world that it's good to have a TikTok if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff. So I recently started one. It's the same name, Douglas Moon Fragrance. So if any of you guys like my stuff, go check me out there. Please show some love. But I did a fragrance of the day thing over there. And I was just curious if you guys would like to see me start doing that type of deal here. Hey, Andrew, it's Malik, May's brother. Do you like robot looking? So Phantom by Paco Rabanne. That's the one that looks like a robot. I think it's called Phantom. I'll tell you this. I like it in the sense that it smells good, but it isn't for me. So if you're young, like if you're really young, you probably will enjoy it, but it's not my style. So hopefully, though, if you want to start getting into fragrances, I think it would be a very good one for you to start with because it's not too bad, not too expensive. Thank you for watching and commenting, my friend. What's the best ways to apply perfume and how many sprays? After I do a little test real quick to show you guys who've never seen before Mancera's atomizers with the Roses Vanille, I'll actually reapply the fragrance that I have on right now to show you guys how I personally put fragrances on. But just to show you real quick, I had to put on that Naxos. I needed that Feel Good Tobacco Honey Cloud. 100%, my friend. If you ever want to feel wrapped up in a warm, delicious honey blanket, honey tobacco, sweet tobacco blanket. At my job, we have a sweet tobacco fragrance, like pure concentrate for people to use to make candles. And it's one of my favorite things in the world. We also have a honey and tonka. I like to smell them together, and it's very similar to Naxos. But with that being said, if you've got your hands on Naxos by Xerjoff, one of my favorite fragrances of all time. But just to show you guys real quick, if you can see it, Mancera's atomizers. I just realized you guys probably can't see that good. I'm sorry. But if you could see that, they have some of the best atomizers in the entire world. But you asked me how to apply fragrance and how many sprays. What room is, this is, I don't know what that means, but have you tried Hindu Kush from Mancera? I haven't tried Hindu Kush, to be honest with you. It is not a fragrance that I've come across just yet, although I'm very interested in getting it now. When I very first discovered what Hindu Kush was by Mancera, I was a little nervous, just like getting red tobacco, because at that time I wasn't into more mature, incensey kind of smells. But it's still, Malik, do you think I'll like Phantom because I'm 10? I think so. If you're young, Phantom by Paco Rabanne is definitely a good fragrance, because a lot of times when you're younger and you haven't smelled a lot of fragrances just yet, your nose isn't adept, especially depending on what country you come from. Your nose isn't very used to certain fragrance profiles. So I would say yes. But I got my big boy bottle of Percival by Parfums de Marly. So I'm going to show you guys real fast how I personally apply fragrances. Nobody else has to do this. And then Parsev, I'll talk to you real quick about what you just said. But from your biggest fan, thank you so much. I'm so grateful you guys in the UK are watching my videos. That means the absolute world to me. Thank you. I appreciate you guys with all my heart. But so I'm going to show you guys real quick how I apply stuff. And I think I'll sit the microphone. No, I'll hold it. I just don't want to get anything on it. But here and here, pulse points. And again, this is just how I do it. You don't have to do it, but you do just like everybody shows you. Hit the pulse points if you can. Some people say don't spray in the center of the neck because it can quickly take you nose blind. I say do whatever you want. But I do dink dink on each side, especially depending on what kind of atomizer you have. One on the back of the neck. Or you can do, if you're a woman or you just have long hair in general, you can spray your hair as well. My wife does that, and it actually lasts extremely long. Some people can do the shoulders because as well, if you just put it right in the center of the chest, it can cause you to go nose blind faster. I do the chest, to be honest with you. I don't really care. So you can do just in the center of the chest, or you can do the shoulders. Doesn't really matter. And then lastly, doing anything on your arms is unnecessary because most of the time people aren't going to smell your arms or your hands unless you're like me and you like to just give yourself a sniff throughout the day, kind of try to reintroduce a bit more concentrated fragrance to your nose. So you can hit the pulse points on your wrist or in the crease of your arm here or on the top of your hand if you're not going to be washing your hands a lot or using a lot of like gloves and stuff like that. So stuff like that. So pulse points, back of the neck, and anywhere you want to on your shirt. Most likely, depending on what fragrance you're using. Very, very most likely it's going to do you just well. Is your phone? Yes, I am on my phone. And let me try to look through the comments real quick, see what everybody is saying. It's May. Malik is so happy. He's basically had a convo with you. Thank you. I'm so glad. Great, good fragrance real quick for Google Man. Good fragrance under $20. That's a tough one because under $20, even if you was to go to like Hollister or something like that, you're really not going to find any fragrances that's under $20. If you could go up to 30, if you could save up a little bit more, go up to 30, and especially if you can go to 40 or 35. Recently, if you want something sweet, a lot of people have been talking about this, so please forgive me. A lot of people have been talking about this, but Liquid Broom by French Avenue, incredible. Major incredible fragrance right here. I absolutely love this. If you have ever smelled, again, you see I've got Parfums de Marly's. If you've ever had the chance or been curious about Out There by Parfums de Marly, I've honest to God burned through my bottle, gave a bottle away to a friend. I've got Hot Lodge Vanilla Dunes. Whether you get Liquid Broom or Hot Lodge Vanilla Dunes, they're like perfect fragrances to me right now that you can wear anytime you want to. Very vanilla pod. So if you have $35 to $40, this is a great choice. But honest to goodness, fragrances under, as well, any of the Hawasses or something like that, any Hot Lodge fragrance, especially with summertime right now, Hot Lodge Island will save you a lot of money and be an excellent performer. Beautiful summer fragrance. But as far as $20 go, I can't really suggest too many fragrances for that. As far as, let's see, can you please go to PlayStation app? I'm sorry, buddy. I can't do that right now while I'm streaming and stuff because I just can't do that. But so as far as can I rap? Absolutely not. I used to, not like to be a rapper, but at parties when I was much younger, I used to rap for fun. But no, that's not really my thing. I don't do that. I wish I could. I love listening to like rap music. I like listening to rap music from different countries a little bit more than the US these days. So just to kind of get a bit more personal to anybody who's willing to listen for a moment here, me and my wife, we want to travel. So we're not rich or nothing like that. So please don't assume that. We work regular jobs, but we got a house to take care of and stuff. But we went to Munich, Germany, and Nuremberg and Tegernsee for our honeymoon. And there's other places in the world we really want to see. We want to go back and travel around Germany, travel around other parts of Europe. We want to go to Scotland and Ireland. We most definitely want to go to Japan and just see different parts of the world. My son, who I had with a different woman a long time ago when I was younger, he's part Thai from Thailand. So his family's from Thailand on his mom's side. And basically, yeah, like there's a lot of places I'd like to go to and like to see and travel. So I know that was a little bit like random and off topic, but I just wanted to throw that out there that I listen to rap music and R&B and music in general from Germany, from France, from Japan, stuff like that. But not that anybody asked, sorry. Let's see. And the boys, Mom, thank you for being so nice to them and engaging with them. Hey, no problem whatsoever. Like, I appreciate them for watching my videos. Again, I'm just a person who's trying to connect to people out here and build a community, talk about fragrances or just life, have fun, answer questions. So thank you guys for watching me at all. It means the world to me. So like, yeah, I appreciate your support. And I appreciate you just engaging with me and asking me questions. If my channel somehow ever gets 500,000 subscribers, if my channel ever somehow gets to 1 million, I'm still going to talk to you guys exactly like I am right now, because I'll still just be a person like everybody else. So let's see. Perfume will make you go nose blind, even if you apply it far away from your neck. Do you have any other way to test performance? So with that being said, you are correct. You get olfactory fatigue. If you don't know what that is, olfactory system is the system which you basically, it is your body's ability to smell. So the olfactory system is the way we say it, at least in English, for how you perceive smell to your brain, as well. It even helps how you taste. Okay. So with that being said, if you are to apply fragrance, especially if you wear the same fragrance with the same materials and notes on a regular basis. So just to make this very clear to you, let me see this right here. This is Layton by Parfums de Marly. So if you was to wear this every day, if you was to put this on in the same spots or even in different spots, it doesn't matter. Your nose is going to get used to and accustomed to the scent profiles. So even if you like can smell the initial notes, it'll wear off on you pretty quickly, and other people can still smell you, but you necessarily won't be able to smell yourself. And whereas if you go towards more citrus fragrances, that'll get even worse. But I would say that if you want to test a fragrance, like I've been doing, if you really want to test the fragrance's performance, I'll wear something. I do this a lot so I can actually give you guys honest thoughts about my fragrances that I test. What I do is I'll wear on the pulse points on my shirt and clothes a specific fragrance of my choice. So let's just imagine I did Joe Malone's Cypress and Grapevine. That's what I'm wearing for real. But then on my other arm, let's say on the forearm here and on the top of my hand and on a few different spots in my arm, I'll apply a completely different fragrance, the one that I want to test. So that way, most of the day, I'm only smelling on the rest of me, whatever I chose to wear, let's say Joe Malone. But then let's say I use Tom Ford's Black Lacquer. I want to see what that smells like. I apply that to other parts of my arm. That's not going to be anywhere really near me. So as the day goes on, I'll be able to give it a whiff. So if I personally just want to know how it's performing on me as a whole, on my skin, you do that. Wear something else and just apply whatever you're testing to a place that's not the prominent spot. If you want to know how good the sillage and performance is, unfortunately, you're just going to have to go nose blind and let other people tell you that. If you've got friends, family, coworkers, people that you trust, let them know you're going to try something out and then spray it on throughout the day. Just randomly see if they come to you or ask them their thoughts and opinions. The kids are listening to that and they're so happy. Absolutely. No, it means, like I said, it means the world to me that you guys are even watching and leaving me your thoughts, leaving me your comments. So you guys are welcome anytime. If you see me doing a stream, jump on in. If you want to ask me stuff, you want to talk, jump on in. You're always welcome. Everybody who watches my stuff is welcome to give me your thoughts and everything like that. And then also to people who are a little bit older, so I'll talk to you guys here, but to anybody who's older, I'm trying to keep it more mature. If you are 18 and up or whatever, and you just want to ask me questions through more like messaging and stuff, find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok or whatever, and we can communicate there if you want to ask me about fragrances through messages and stuff. It's 6 a.m. I don't know how I got here, but I'm about, well, you know what, Phantom Heim? I don't know how you got here either, but I appreciate you. And I'm about you being here. So thank you so much for watching. By the way, anybody who is watching, Michael Ray, what's the best John Paul? I will answer you in just a second, Michael Ray. But just sub to your channel, Jay from South Africa. Thank you, dude. I was just about to say, anybody who's watching, I'd love to know where you guys are. It's 1:30 p.m. right now. For me, I'm here in the U.S. and it is 8:32 a.m. So like I said, this is my day off. I'm off every Wednesday. So I started thinking, you know what? Maybe each Wednesday or whenever I get the chance, I'll start doing these and just have you guys here and we'll talk, catch up, see how things are going. That's the kind of, like I said, that's the way I want my channel to be. So 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. in the UK, 2:32 where you guys are. Well, you know what? everybody from Germany, from the UK, from South Africa. I love you guys. Like, thank you so much for being here. I just want to know, is it awesome where you guys are? Few salty marine perfume. Well, glad that you asked. I literally talked about this earlier, but just throwing this out there to Sorab. I hope I said your name properly. Right here, buddy. If this is what you want, a salty marine perfume, this is like the best that it gets. 40 Knots by Xerjoff. It is literally like identical to exactly what you just asked me. Also, Michael Ray, real quick, I'm sorry. You said best Jean Paul. So this is just my opinion. So your opinion may vary. My personal favorite Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance is La Male Elixir, because I have La Male Le Parfum, I have the original, and Ultra Male is also really good, although I don't have that personally anymore. But for me, I would say that my absolute favorite fragrance is La Male Elixir, because the honey, the tonka, the overall performance is amazing. It's one of my favorites. And if you're going to get a Jean Paul and you're going to spend the money, I think that you can't go wrong with this. But if you want something a little more relaxed, but has pretty good performance, I would say get La Male Le Parfum. But if you want something awesome for summer and you like coconut, you like pina colada, but not too strong on the pineapple, naturally, I would say go for Le Beau Le Parfum. Let's see. I forgot to answer about Tommy Yomi Special Monkey. I don't know if I said that right, but I have that right here. Xerjoff's Special Monkey. This is actually, to answer you between this or Carlisle, I would say that's a tough one. I think you could have both. They're not the same. But this has like a caramel cocoa note to it. And to me, this is fantastic. I love this. I don't wear this. My daughter, actually, she likes wearing this one. So somehow, even though I didn't think so ahead of time, Special Monkey kind of fits my daughter's personality a little bit more. I guess she's my little special monkey, as cringe as that is to say. But this one's definitely more like that kind of speed. It's more caramel, kind of delicious. But if you compare it to Carlisle, I think I would say get Carlisle. This performs way better than Carlisle. Actually, I changed my mind. For the same price range, I would tell you get Carlisle over this, because if you're going to pay similar to that much, how much you get is a bigger bottle for Carlisle. But actually, this is more unique. A lot of people are getting Carlisle these days. So I would say get Special Monkey. And mostly because, again, it's not that worse of a price, especially if you get it off a discount site. But this one performs like a monster. You've been on this stream for an hour. Well, thank you for being here this whole entire time. Got to go. Have a great day. Well, thank you, Joe Jack, for watching. I hope you have a great day. And I will say this. So technically, I thought about it a lot recently, and I'm pretty sure that what state I live in is here on Facebook or here on my YouTube. I'm not entirely sure. But recently I've been kind of rethinking with people coming through, watching my videos, people commenting and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure if I want to say anymore to people like what state I live in. Not that it's like the biggest deal in the entire universe, but I've had a lot of time. Me and my wife were talking about it, and like, well, you never know. There's people out there, not you guys, of course, but there are people out there who hack your stuff or try to find out where you live. So again, as my channel is growing, I think I'm not really going to necessarily speaking say exactly where I'm at. But, that's, again, nothing towards you guys. But again, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I'm going to keep going for a little while longer. If you guys have any more questions, if you want to talk about whatever, ask me anything. But definitely Special Monkey, fantastic fragrance. I'm actually pretty interested. And by the way, you're always welcome to ask me anything. So thank you so much. Don't be bothered at all. But this is actually starting to speak to me a lot more than I thought it was going to. Like I said, I don't personally wear it because the caramel note and everything is just not my style. I like gourmands. I like sweet fragrances, but I'm much more of a vanilla guy. But something that's a vanilla caramel blend and more cheap, again, if somebody wants to save yourself some money. I just got Cafe Latte the other day by Hadlaj, and have I ever been to Fuerteventura? I think I said that properly. I have not. I actually don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. I've never been there before, but I'm sure whatever that is, it's really interesting. But definitely Cafe Latte by Hadlaj. If you get the chance to give this a smell, if you're looking for like a cheaper coffee, like I got Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana. A lot of people have been talking about that one lately, and it's very nice vanilla, kind of creamy coffee type of scent. This actually I just got in the other day, and if you're looking for something cheap, more vanilla coffee, this is like incredible. You can't go wrong. Bleu de Chanel or Versace Man Eau Fresh. I'm going to tell you right now, Bleu de Chanel, 100%. If you're interested between Bleu de Chanel or the Versace Eau Fresh, you got to get Bleu de Chanel because it is very well known, very classic. I don't know which Bleu de Chanel you're interested in. I personally have and wear the Parfum. It's a little bit more of the expensive, so definitely not necessarily cheap. But if you're going to spend in the designer, more upper echelon, I recommend getting Bleu de Chanel. Get Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Did you answer me already? Because I went off the stream 1 sec by accident. I did. I actually said that I've actually never heard of that place before, Fuerteventura. But if you don't mind, you can tell me about it. Is Gucci Guilty worth buying? It depends which one you're going to get. And it also depends on like how many things are on your list of fragrances you want to get. But I would say it's not my style, but it is worth buying. If you're interested in it, it's not the best performer in the entire world. A lot of designer fragrances, like from Sephora or from the mall, are not the best performers that you're ever going to get your hands on. But I would say Gucci Guilty is a pretty nice fragrance. It's just not my style. So I can't tell you exactly how good it is, but it's not too expensive. But if anybody is interested in getting Bleu de Chanel, I know that another problem these days in the fragrance community, by the way, just a side note to my friend here, you're going on holiday this year. Well, I hope that you have an extreme amount of fun. It's in Spain. Okay, so I've definitely never been to Spain. Like I said, Europe is somewhere me and my wife want to travel a lot, but we've only been to Germany so far, and we absolutely loved Germany. Anybody who watches me from Germany, I just want you guys to know, I can't wait to come back there. And hopefully one day, maybe I'll get to meet some of you guys when we come through. If me and my wife are ever anywhere in the world and you guys know ahead of time and you see us, please have no problem coming up and saying hello. Does Baccarat Rouge 540 get compliments? Most fragrances can get you compliments, but it's actually very rare that people will come up to you and say something to you. But I will tell you, my wife wore Baccarat the other day, and a couple of people did say she smelled really nice when we were out in public. I think that people are more comfortable complimenting women than they are men. A lot of the time, it's just my personal experience. Also, I guess sometimes because of my tattoos and stuff, some people think I look a little unapproachable. I don't know. But Baccarat does have the potential to get you complimented. But certain ones, honestly, even this one, the Bleu de Chanel, has got me way more compliments than when I've tested out Baccarat Rouge. And the other Maison Francis Kirkjohn fragrance I talked about earlier, Silk Oud Silk Mou, has got me a bunch of compliments, way more than when I wear Baccarat. But it's a great fragrance. But yes, definitely, Swifty, we look so much to coming forward to like checking out Spain one day and other places like that. And there was one other question. Oh, never mind. Okay, I answered it. Bleu de Chanel or Dior Sauvage? That's a good question. Bleu de Chanel or Dior Sauvage? I'm going to tell you right now. Bleu de Chanel. You want to know why? Because neither of these are overrated fragrances. And even though a lot of people know what they are, a lot of people have purchased Bleu de Chanel and purchased Sauvage, I think that they're both worth having, especially depending on which one you get. But if you can get your hands on Bleu de Chanel, this is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. It's definitely in my top 10. And it is so classic, especially if you get your hands on the Parfum. It's just, it's nice. It stands out a little bit because, to be real with you, most of the time when people purchase designer fragrances like from the mall or something like that, they kind of do go towards the more Gucci or Prada. Right now, Jean Paul Gaultiers are very popular, even though, again, I haven't personally come across too many people wearing them, but you know it when you smell it. But Bleu de Chanel is fantastic, and I highly recommend you guys getting your hands on it if you get a chance. But I do want to take a moment to go back to this bad boy a little bit, because hardly anybody's been asking me about this for a very long time now. Real quick, I'll answer you. Do you agree Paco Rabanne 1 million is outdated? If you mean like overrated or like just not worth having anymore, I would say that it can be depending on the person. But if you're like younger and you're getting into fragrances, then sure. Get 1 million elixir if you want something that's a little powerful, a little youthful. Welcome back, Evan. Thank you so much for being here. But I would say that 1 million is it's a little outdated, but still a great fragrance overall. Still a massively awesome performer, especially depending on which one you get. And as far as have I ever heard of UK Gladiators, I have not. Is that like a performance thing you can go to, or is that a TV show? Because if it's a TV show, I'd love to watch it. If any of my buddies here are from Europe or from the UK, along with you, Macy, I really want to ask, have you guys ever heard of Black Books with Dylan Moran or Dylan Moran? I think that's how you say his name. That show is one of my absolute favorite shows that I've ever seen in my entire life. I grew up with it. When I was very young, the BBC used to play classic early TV shows. I used to watch them. So I grew up watching like early UK shows and stuff, and like Little Britain, I think is one was called. But those used to be my thing, and it kind of developed a lot of my humor. Also, if you guys have ever heard of Three Stooges, I'm not being very funny today because I'm just answering questions and hanging out. But I'm mostly known for liking to crack jokes with my friends, and I get a lot of my humor from early British TV shows, and as well like the Three Stooges and stuff like that, and Fred Sanford, if you guys have ever heard of that before. And I will definitely check it out sometime. Do I have any Hugo Boss? I do not. Although recently there's a few that have come upon my radar that I'm very interested in getting my hands on. But with that being said, I'd love to know if you've got a couple Hugo Boss fragrances that you really like. And thank you for asking. And to Jay, this right here, I was going to recommend this because people ask a lot about Sauvage. People ask a lot about Bleu de Chanel. But this right here, if you get your hands on Versace Eros Parfum, because a lot of people buy Versace Eros, Eau de Parfum, but even more, a lot of times people getting into fragrances will try the original Eau de Toilette, which I don't really like. The Eau de Toilette's what I started with, and I thought it was pretty decent. It was like basically the most popular one for the longest time. But this one, the parfum is different by a mile from the original, and it's so distinct, so beautiful. This is an extremely excessively luxurious fragrances, and I'm crazy about this one. This one really like throws me for a loop every time I smell it because it smells nostalgic for something that I've never even smelled before. But if you guys are looking for something that I highly recommend, especially for the summer and fall all at the same time, Versace Eros Parfum is like one of the best things you can get your hands on, as well as Versace Eros Flame. Flame, Energy, or the Parfum of the original, you can't go wrong with that. Let me see real quick. Do I have any sour fragrances? I would say, yeah. I would say if you think about lemon, anything lemony being like that, kind of sort of Eros Energy is a little bit on that sour fragrance type of situation. Did I have one that would suit a teen girl? You know what? Being completely real with you, I think that Eros Energy could be something a teen girl could wear. If you get the chance and you're in the UK, I would say go see if there's an Ulta or a Sephora or somewhere like that that has fragrances you can check out. I guarantee you they're going to have Eros Energy. I've known girls who've bought this, and I think that like for the price and everything, this is like a perfect fragrance. So Versace Eros Energy, go get you some. I'll get it, bro. Absolutely. Please do. To my buddy here about the original Eros. Those 200 ml bottles. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Have I tried anything? Carolina Herrera. So no, I haven't. I don't own any Carolina Herrera fragrances, but I did go smell most of the line at a store recently. I think they had them at my Nordstrom. They're great. Very good fragrances. But I'm not going to be buying any anytime soon because they're also not like the world's cheapest. I mean, depending on which one you get, they can be though. Have I tried anything from Zoologist? So that is a niche company that I intend to get around to, just like D'Orange and a few other companies that like tend to lean more on the niche side. But again, like I said, recently having stocked up on mostly Xerjoffs and Amouages and things like that. And honestly, mostly Xerjoff, Amouage, Mancera, things on his line, Tom Ford. That's kind of what I've been building towards so I can have a lot of those to go through because I know they can be very popular. So I haven't had a chance to smell any of the Zoologists yet, but if you've got any you'd like to recommend, please do. And so Ulta's not in the UK. Well, if there is like a general fragrance place that you can go to, like in the city that you can smell stuff at, most places will have Versace Eros Energy, and for a teenage girl, I highly recommend it because even though it's supposed to be like a man's fragrance and like Channing Tatum is the dude who faces it, it's beautiful citrus. If you're allowed to order anything, if your mom and dad like is okay with you ordering fragrances and stuff online and you can get your hands on it, I would definitely tell you that you might. It's not very, very youth friendly necessarily speaking, but kind of pineapples, like cool woodsy. I would say Cedrat Bois by Mancera is a fantastic fragrance that you could give yourself a try with. But if I think about it and I come up with anything else that I think would be fun for you to give a shot, I would definitely throw that your way. Or if you're in my next live stream, I will definitely suggest a few more as I'm looking around, just trying to think what might be some good options because I really want to help you. Hold on, you can search, or I think that's what you said. Tell me the most underrated fragrance that I own. Oh, by the way, real quick to Jay, 200 ml bottles. So I do have a handful of 200s, yes. Like my Versace Eros perfume. I love it so much. I keep that. I'll screenshot. Oh, let's see. If you want me to hold these back in front of you, I'll hold this one for a second, see if you need to screenshot that bad boy or something like that, just trying to be helpful. And then as far as the other one goes, I'll hold this if that's any type of helpful. Cedrat Bois by Mancera. Like I said, anybody who watches my stuff, try to keep it good for you guys, but also try to be helpful if it's in any way, shape, or form possible. Now back to my friend over here asking me about underrated fragrance. You know what? I got a handful that I'm going to show you, my most underrated fragrances. By the way, you're welcome, Macy. I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite fragrances that I think I don't see too many people talking about. Some people do, but for the most part, Oud Mineral by Tom Ford is talked about. Don't get me wrong. People are talking about it. But I did a full review for this yesterday. I just haven't posted it yet. By the way, I want to throw this out there. Any of you guys who are watching, if you haven't yet and you get the time, please feel free to go back and watch my full-length reviews, my main videos. Leave me comments, because if any of you guys watch, leaving comments on my videos, spam them for all I care. Like, don't really, because it could get you reported, but multiple comments really helps my algorithm. Press the like button, share the videos if you guys can go do that, because I noticed that like all YouTubers are saying, as my channel grows, when I go back and watch my videos, a lot of them can get lost in people's subscriber feed. And as well, a lot of the people who've been watching my videos are still people who aren't even subscribed. Like I got 111, 112,000 almost subscribers, but most of those people don't even keep watching my stuff. They see one video, they like it, and then they subscribe and they move on. So if any of you guys are watching and you're willing to do so, it really helps if you guys do that, if you appreciate the stuff I do, because I've got so many more reviews coming your way. But yeah, as far as the underrated fragrance goes, this one right here, I think, even though, again, people are talking about it, Oud Mineral by Tom Ford is a really wonderful mineral aquatic type of fragrance, and I absolutely love it. Let's see. I'll do a few more in a second, but let me just check the comments, make sure I'm not missing anything here. So is Miyake Intense's good citrus fragrance, but more male-centric? I haven't heard of that one. There's going to be a lot of fragrances, especially you guys who are around the world, especially if you're from Europe, the Middle East, Asia, India, wherever. Please please comment to me fragrances that maybe are from your area that not a lot of people know about, because I love like cultures from around the world. I love trying spices, food profiles, scent profiles that are from around the world. So if there's anything from your country that you think you haven't seen represented or seen people talk about, please comment it, or comment it on some of my other videos, like my real videos, so I can see it, because I would love to try out things that you guys know about that maybe you don't see people talk about too much. And you're welcome. Mercedes-Benz Club Black is good. Stays on clothes all day. I haven't tried that one. It's funny because when I was at Nordstrom talking to my buddy Delaney the other day about Tom Ford's, my son was there and he was making comments about, like, do any car brands make fragrances? And I was like, as a matter of fact, they do. But I've not smelled any Mercedes fragrances. I only made my account 2 days ago, but I've watched you for a couple of months. Well, thank you so much for even having been doing that. I'm grateful that you're here. I really am. And I'm going to continue to give you props as my #1 fan. So thank you so much. Foods that I can try: Walkers, Quavers, and Watsits. I like the name Watsit. I've never had any of those, but we do have a local store that has like snacks and food from the UK and from all over the world. So I'll definitely go there and see if I can check any of that stuff out, because any of you guys' suggestions I appreciate. But while I wait for more of you guys' comments and questions, again, anybody watching, please ask me anything you want. I will try to answer you if it's possible, or if I can comfortably do so. But I just want to say again to anybody who's dropping in here and who's new, this is my fragrance collection. I'm Andrew Douglas Lane. This is the Douglas Moon Fragrance Channel. And I'm always, always, always going to be as honest with you guys about everything that I can. I'm not going to overhype crap just because it's popular. Nobody's sending me free fragrances, although it would be cool if they did. I could save a lot of money. But I don't even know if my channel continues to blow up, if I'll be very friendly, like for companies to want to send free stuff too, because I'll take it if people want to send me free stuff. But just being real, I'm not going to lie. So if a company sends me free stuff and is like, hey, can you tell people this is great? I'll say, no, I'm going to smell it. And if it's great, it's great. But if not, whatever. And let's see, guys in the chat, try La Leak on Craig Noir Sports. Good for high heat. Well, thank you for sharing that. I will have to, as a matter of fact, let me use my other phone real quick and see if I can take a picture of that. This is what I use, like I said, to save music and stuff with. I'm going to take a picture of that so that way I can, I just realized I can even do this. That'll help me a lot. I'll take a picture of the chat real quick. This is such a surreal thing for me to be doing, taking a photo of my own chat. But if any of you guys, I just realized if you put names in here of stuff for me to try out, like fragrances and stuff, this is very helpful then, so I can take photos of it. And thank you for saying I'm genuine and kind. I really appreciate that. You are too. You've been so kind to me, you and your whole family so far in these comments have been extremely kind, extremely compassionate and loving and supportive, and it means the world to me. Is that YSLY? If you're asking Sarthak, if you're asking if YSLY is good, so not to bore anybody who's been watching since the beginning, but just to take it back to something I said earlier, YSLYs, I only got the eau de parfum. I've smelled them all, but I've only got the eau de parfum personally. And this is the refillable bottle. It's got bergamot, green apple, just kind of a general relaxed, calming, aquatic, citrusy type of smell. And so again, this is what my wife calls the snuggle smell, because I only wear it when we're about to snuggle in the evening. She just thinks this is like such a relaxing fragrance to smell. So when she's like nuzzled up on my chest, she likes to smell this coming off of my clothes. So I refuse to wear this any other time of the day, because I don't want to, like, I know this is silly, but disrespect the sanctity of our special snuggle fragrance that we wear, or that I wear. Whoopsie. But yeah, YSLY, for anybody else who wants to get their hands on it, it is fantastic. Pretty good performer, to be honest with you, as well. A lot of people trash on the YSL fragrance line and say that it's not that good at performance. Well, not all of them are the best, but some of them actually do really good. Yo, it's Maxwell. Thank you, sir, for suggesting fragrances. I don't know why I'm struggling to read right now. It's probably because I got this stupid flashlight trying to keep it lit up, although I can see it's not really helping. But thank you guys even for loving my channel, or for watching and appreciating what I do. But no, Maxwell, thank you. Truly, thank you for watching, for supporting, appreciating. And you guys, like, commenting has been so helpful for me. So more than you know, because my whole goal, I've been making videos, again, to anybody who's tuning in. If you guys drop out, sure, fine. If you get bored by my live stream here, that's okay. But my name's Andrew. My whole goal for doing videos in the first place is just, again, to connect to other people, to talk about fragrances, and to have a fragrance community where we not only talk about fragrances, but we support each other, like in general, emotionally. I want you guys to know a big life lesson real quick. This goes to your friends who are musicians, artists, in general, when you're in relationships, friendships. We do not have to approve of everything that people do, like, or whatever, people's actions, whatever. You don't have to approve of everything to be kind to people. So that's the kind of environment I want people to be aware of. Oh, whoopsie. I guess my microphone didn't approve of that statement. But seriously, that's just the type of atmosphere I'm trying to put out there, is that everybody's welcome here to talk to me, but I'm going to talk about whatever I feel like, because that's just the deal. So my first niche perfume, I guess that's a tough one, because I'm going to tell you what I would call my first niche perfume. When people say niche, a lot of times they're thinking about like a company that's not designer and super popular. But I hear people call Parfums de Marly's niche, and I don't really think they are, because you can buy them in a lot of stores, and honestly, they can be a bit more popular and mass appealing. So they're kind of niche, but not really. So if you want to know like a real niche fragrance that I got, honest to God, my first ones that I got in was Naxos by Xerjoff. Real quick, hold on, let me check these other messages just to be sure that I'm not missing nothing. So tell me something about the Azaro Wanted series, and then Blockade Layer with Thomas Kosmala #4. So Ghostly Sillage, I've not even tried any of those, but I thank you for suggesting that. As a matter of fact, here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to take a quick pause-a-rooney so that I can take a photo of what you just suggested. Because like I said, I'm going to start doing that kind of stuff so I can save these for later. But with that being said, where do I buy most of my fragrance? I probably use Joma Shop. I've never used Joma Shop. I'm not sure, Eric, if you're the person who I talked to about this before or not. But I know other people were telling me that Joma Shop's actually a pretty good website to use. I've never personally used it. I used to use fragrancenet.com and then Max Aroma. So I say used to, I still would. It's just that they don't ship to our new home. We just moved an hour away from where we were living before, an hour and like 20 minutes. Where I used to live was in the city, and UPS and stuff used to be able to deliver. Where I live now, they can't find our home apparently. And they misplaced over almost $2,000 worth of fragrances. And I say they misplaced it. They delivered it and took a photo of the night sky and claimed it was delivered. And then I never got those products. Thankfully, another company was willing to like help me out with that situation because my channel was growing at the time. And that was money I really didn't want to lose from moving and selling our house. But anyway, nowadays, I either order from Fragrance Net and get stuff shipped to my buddy Sam's house. Maybe he's watching this. Or I order like from Amazon, from only trustable retailers. Please, if you're going to order fragrances from Amazon, check the reviews and make sure that the people who's selling it are trustworthy, because there's a lot of fake fragrances out there. Real quick, let me, hey, my sister Molly. Molly is coming into the room. Hey, Molly, thank you for watching. Hopefully I didn't miss you. And so, hello, Molly. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with your sister and checking out my videos. I appreciate you so much. So hopefully you enjoy talking with me right now. And if you got any questions, feel free to ask. And basically Creed and Baccarat 540, but instead of pineapple, it's mango. With that being said, one thing that is more expensive that I want to get my hands on at some point, but again, I'm trying to save money for right now, so I'm not buying any more expensive fragrances, would be, I want to try God of Fire. But Vulcan Fou, or Fou, however you say it, by French Avenue, that's the next one that's on my list to get my hands on because it's a mango-y fragrance. But I'd love to check that out. So thank you so much, Ghostly Sillage, for making that suggestion. I really appreciate it. And to Molly, hello. Thank you again so much. I'm glad that you are enjoying, and I'm glad that it made you happy. So thank you. It makes me happy that you're watching and even want to communicate with me. But Ghostly Sillage, thank you for suggesting that. And back to my other friend, again, asking me about my first niche fragrance. Naxos by Xerjoff was what I would call the first real niche fragrance that I got my hands on. And honestly, it changed my life. The moment that I smelled this, it was tough for me. I'm going to explain something to you real quick that might be a little strange to you guys, but I'm going to try to explain this anyways. So when I very first, hold on, let me respond real quick. I think CR7 fragrance are just normal generic perfumes. CR7, I don't know. Creed, maybe you mean Creed? I'm not sure. Real quick, I'm going to try to answer everybody's stuff. So Molly, I'm so happy that you're happy. And then Sebek, hello, Sebek. Hopefully I said your name properly, and if not, I'm sorry, but hello, and thank you so much for being here. Ask me anything if you would like to. Can I advise you which one for men is the best? I will do that. We're going to start real quick with expensive ones. So real fast, Amouage Reflection, if you've got the money for it. Fantastic, very distinct buttery iris man's fragrance. Naxos by Xerjoff. 40 Knots by Xerjoff, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense, Versace Eros Parfum. Let's see, if you want to keep it more classic, Dior Sauvage Parfum or Eau de Parfum, great men's fragrances. If you want to go cheaper, on the other hand, and you don't want to spend money for like Jean Paul Gaultier's La Male Elixir, also good for men's fragrance. Hod Lodge's Island, Hod Lodge's Vanilla Dunes, and then as well, fantastic cheaper men's fragrance, Khamra by Latafa, either the Kawa or the original edition. I'll do some more, but I'm just trying to keep up with you guys as it goes on. Recommend, Montclair. I have not tried anything from theirs either yet, but I do intend to do so. Hello, Molly. Thank you so much for being a fan. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Anybody else who jumps in here, by the way, please continue to feel free to tell me where you're from. Tell me what it's like where you are. And again, I just want to tell you thank you so much for watching. And I appreciate you guys. Anytime you comment, I'll try to get back to you and keep up with these things the best that I can. And I thank you guys with all my heart for taking the time to even watch. So please, if you get the chance when I'm done with this stream, I'm going to probably go for about 30 minutes to another hour. When I'm done with this stream, if you guys got the time, please go watch my actual main videos, my reviews, leave comments, leave your likes and thoughts and all that stuff. It means the world to me. Andrew, when's your birthday? In a couple of weeks, on the 4th of May, that'll be my birthday. I'm extremely, extremely excited. Ghostly Siage, thank you for watching from New Jersey. I really appreciate you, brother. Or sister. I know Ghostly Siage, I'm assuming that you're a guy, but sorry if I'm incorrect. But while I'm waiting for you guys to give me more thoughts, more comments, I'm going to go ahead and finish what I was saying earlier. So yeah, I received Naxos by Xerjoff, and I received 40 Knots by Xerjoff. Those were the two original niche fragrances, as I'm going to call them, that I received in. And before that, I had only ever smelled like that weren't just typical designer fragrances like YSL, Versace, Dior, Dolce & Gabbana. I had only ever smelled Parfums de Marly's and Tom Ford's. I know people say those are niche fragrances, but to be real, I don't think of them that way. I think of them as just a little bit more pricey, slightly more distinct designer fragrances. So when I received in these, I had not smelled anything quite like them before. And being completely honest, it was tough for me because in some strange way, these were so much more mature, so much more grown type of fragrances, very Italian, somewhat Middle Eastern influenced. And honest to God, they caused me like a strange sense of depression. I know that sounds really weird to have depression from smelling fragrances that are now some of my fragrances, my favorite. But when I first smelled 40 Knots and Naxos, something about them made me think of like when I was a child and certain people that I love, like people who are no longer with us. I don't know why, but it reminded me that perfumery is an art that makes you feel. And that's why, like I said before, don't just throw your money away on anything and everything that you can get your hands on. Because when you have fragrances, you want it to mean something to you. You want it to connect to you. So when I first got these fragrances, they impacted me. They hit me in a certain way to some part of my soul that I don't know where it came from, but it took me back and made me think about people that I love that I've lost. And immediately it was hard for me at first. And I didn't smell them for like 2 weeks. And then I came back and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I now see that fragrances are so much more for people than just something to spray on and smell good or to get people's attention or to go on dates and stuff like that. So Naxos by Xerjoff and 40 Knots by Xerjoff really started me off as far as niche fragrances go and impacted me and made me start getting all these other fragrances. And let's see, first of all, happy late birthday to Macy. I think you're the one. I know you've been passing the phone around to your family, so hopefully it was you who was specifically asking, but happy late birthday. And I'm going to say this out loud. Thankfully, and hopefully none of you guys can screen grab me, but one of the greatest comments that I've ever received. By the way, do you just want me to call you May? Just so I'm being respectful going forwards. But just so I say this out loud to Ghostly Siage. He said, I'm a strong black man. Well, thank you for being here. I'm grateful that you are a strong black man, and I love that comment. So I'm going to be keeping that with me forever. I wish I had taken a photo. Thankfully, I don't have millions of subscribers because somebody could have like clipped that and then posted it everywhere. I'm like, look at this turd. But can I give you this perfume? I wish I could, my friend. I wish I could, but I can't. These fragrances that I got here, like my wife and me, are like, I spent a pretty good amount of money to get these so I could do reviews and stuff like that. And also Naxos and stuff are like some of my favorite fragrances. So I wish I could give them away to you, but I'm not going to do it, buddy. But I will suggest ones for you. And then my buddy Robert F. said, how do I like 40 Knots? What's it similar to? I'm going to be straight up with you. 40 Knots by Xerjoff is one of my top 3 favorite fragrances in the entire universe. And I'm going to be straight up with you. I can't say that it's similar to pretty much anything because I'm never, ever, ever between Naxos and 40 Knots. I'll never smell a dupe of those fragrances. At least I really don't want to because they mean so much to me and they smell so good and so beautiful. I'd be kind of frustrated if I tried to compare them or have like a dupe or something like that because I don't think I've ever smelled anything that smells just like them. So I don't think I can compare them to anything in particular, but I'm sure that there's like fragrances out there that are similar enough. But 40 Knots is so super distinct. I can compare it to real things in real life, though, just not other fragrances. Because, again, this isn't a bad thing, but 40 Knots has a very sea salt, chlorine, like from a pool type of scent. And to me, there's just literally nothing that I've smelled that's anything like it. And it's one of my favorite fragrances in the entire world. And I'm sorry that you don't. I'm sorry you don't have any fragrances, my friend. I think your name is Narufa. Nurarfa. I'm so sorry if I'm saying it. I'm saying it completely wrong. I shouldn't have even bothered, but please forgive me. Thank you for watching, and I'm sorry that you don't have any fragrances. Also, I think my friend here asked a question, but for some reason the message got you retracted it. Okay, well, sorry, but yeah, overall, I would say yes. Like I said, some of my favorite fragrances, Naxos, 40 Knots, as well. One of my most niche of niche fragrances, as I talked about earlier, is Alexandria 2. That one was definitely super hard for me to get into, but I love it now. Do you use perfume oils like roll-on, traditionally known as attar? So I'm glad that you asked me that. There is a company, but I don't have the bottle inside here in the house right now, so I can't show you guys at this moment. If I was in my car, I could. But there is a scent called Victorian Rose. I think it's called Moonlight or something, Moonlight Rose perfume oils. It's an American company, but I actually keep that in my car at all times because since I love rose fragrances, I found out recently that roll-on fragrances last like a very long time. They burn off of your skin a little bit different than usual. So I do recommend for people, like they're very cheap as well. Like the one that I use a lot was only $5, but it's really good. So if you can get your hands on roll-on fragrances, I think that they are a fantastic choice for most people. That's just my recommendation, something to carry around with you in your pocket. And let's see. I'll tell you my siblings' names. Maisie, Molly, Mason, Matthew, Maxwell, and Malik. And you're May. Well, a lot of M's, but I'm grateful that you guys are all here. And thank you so much for watching. Like I said, it's grateful for me to talk to you guys. And as far as my buddy Starthak, do you personally have any roll-on fragrances that you really like? If you do, I would love to hear about it. And let's see, we're your biggest fans. Well, you know what? That means the world to me. I'm fans of you guys. I might not know what you look like, and we might not actually know each other in real life, but thank you so much for taking the time to watch, to talk to me. It makes me so happy that you're even here. Didn't that hurt getting a big tattoo on your neck? I will say yes. So there's a lot of my friends who've since done this. I'm about to be 32. I got these tattoos when I was like 18 years old, fresh out of high school, basically just started working. Not the smartest decision, obviously, in the world to do. I don't really regret them, but it's not the smartest decision in the world to do. But I will say this, and then whatever I got going on in the back and all that stuff, it didn't feel very good. I'll put it like that. But I was also 115 pounds heavier than I am right now. So when I got these tattoos, believe me, it was much easier for me than some of my best friends at the time who were like skinny little beanpoles and they had giant Adam's apples. So yeah, don't recommend it for a lot of people unless you're absolutely sure. Tattoos in general, I do not tell people ever to go get any unless you're absolutely sure that you really want to, because it is permanent. And let me tell you guys something. I don't know about your country, but here in America these days, there's a lot of dingleberries out there getting tattoos just because they're cool and they're trendy, but they're going to regret them. Not everybody, but there are a lot of people who will. Because I was at the mall the other day, and there was a fellow who I could tell this dude was like 18 years old, maybe or maybe not, just graduated high school. And he had no other tattoos except the whole side of his face was what looked like Sharpie, was a giant Playboy bunny. Please, for the love of all goodness, my younger fans here, but people watching, don't look anything about that stuff up. It was just something very inappropriate. But this young dude had just a giant bunny on the side of his face. And it was a fresh tattoo, so he just got it done. And I just wanted to go up to this kid and tell him, please, like, don't ever do anything like that again. You've already made this decision, but don't do any more. So I try to tell people for sure, don't just go getting tattoos just because it's the cool thing to do or whatever now, because you have to live with that the rest of your life. So just throwing that out there. Okay. But yes, as far as I'm concerned, though, I was just, it did hurt. It wasn't the best feeling ever, but it was also 8 hours. So I ended up falling asleep during most of it. But that's just because after a certain period of time, You can only take so much. I just want you guys to know, by the way, again, I'm going to be continuing to do this stream for a while longer. Going to keep answering your questions and all that stuff. But I am about to use the bathroom and grab another glass of water real quick because my throat's getting dry. But let's see. No one told the kid not to do it. Everyone probably told him it was cool. And you're right. That's the problem. Probably a lot of his friends, again, if that kid is seeing this somehow, no offense to you, and also if anybody disagrees with what I'm saying, hey, look, we all have our own thoughts. But as someone who has like a lot of tattoos and stuff like that, I just, being real, I wish somebody told that kid. Here's another big problem. I wish somebody, like the tattoo artist, it might have been one of his friends, who knows? But I wish the tattoo artist had told his kid they weren't going to do it. When I was very first going to get stuff on my face, when I was like 19 or 20 years old, the artist back then was straight up telling me, hey, I'm not going to do this. I want you to think about it for a few months. Like, keep coming back and think about it before I'm willing to do this. But I already had my neck and my hands and arms done. So he was like, okay. But a responsible tattoo artist, which I'm not an artist, by the way, a responsible tattoo artist will tell people, really think about this before you do this, if it's somewhere very visible. So just throwing this out there. Just passing by, ain't Instagram better to talk about fragrance and going live? I don't know. I don't use Instagram a whole lot. I have one, but here's where I do my YouTube. And so far, my YouTube's been doing pretty decent. Trying to keep it, honestly, that's why I keep doing these lives, is because I want this channel to keep growing. If any of you guys out there want to become content creators, I'm about to let you in on a little genuine objective fact. Do YouTube. It's very easy, apparently, for people to become super viral on TikTok if you've got the right equipment. But TikTok, what they pay you, Instagram, what they pay people, I'm not getting paid from those outlets, but I'm just letting you know. I have had personally friends who have millions of views and followers on Instagram and TikTok, and I want you to know they don't pay crap compared to YouTube. It's a fraction as far as what you get paid if you are very successful on YouTube and Instagram. Instagram and TikTok. They're just like side hustles to an already existing side hustle. So that's why I'm doing these lives here on my YouTube, is because I would like to continue to grow this thing. And who knows, maybe one day make a career out of this. So if any of you guys want to subscribe and check out more of my videos, I'm about to go full YouTuber right now. Subscribe to my channel. I'm sorry about that. If any of you guys want to subscribe to my channel and ask me about fragrances and watch me do these reviews as I continue to get better equipment and all that stuff and try to have more fun with you guys and build a community, please do that, because I would love to potentially see if I can make a real career out of this one day. I mean, come on. People follow Jeremy Fragrance, right? And he's a fun-loving guy, fun-loving little Deutsche man. So at the end of the day, listen, give me a little bit of love. But to May and the rest of you guys who've already checking me out, I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you so much for being here and subscribing. It means the world to me, because I'm just trying to see how far I can do this. Again, my birthday's coming up, so subscribe. Give me some comments and all that good stuff. Give me a little early birthday present and all that junk. One of these days, you're going to see me being one of those people like, check out my Patreon and give me money for monthly subscriptions and stuff. But I'm not that person right now. Nobody's going to give me that kind of stuff. That'd be crazy, though. Can you imagine if like 100 people were giving you like $15 a month? That's not the most money in the world, I know, but it's something. But seriously, like I said, I've already got all these fragrances right here that I got to do videos for and stuff. So it's going to be a little while. And I'm the kind of person who likes to work ahead. So at this moment, before I even got this microphone, which, by the way, isn't even the best microphone ever, but I'm trying stuff out. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on equipment after I already got all these fragrances before I know if the stuff is even going to really help me out. But literally, I already filmed like 17 videos of like full reviews, that like my normal reviews that you guys see on my channel. And that was before I even got my microphone. So my wife was like, dang, don't you think you should probably go back and redo those? And I'm like, probably not. I already filmed them all. They're already done. I'm not doing that. But going forwards, I want to try to make my stuff even better for you. How do you afford fragrances? That is a good question. So to start with, I work full time. I know I'm off today. I work 10-hour shifts and I'm off every Wednesday. So I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I work full time at a warehouse So that does like candle maker supplies for people who like big companies that make candles and stuff like that. So jars, oils, like waxes and fragrances and stuff. That's where I work. And I do really well there. It's a good job. It's not like I'm rich or anything, but I do pretty well. And then also my wife and me, we're both working. We both work. We both have full-time jobs. But then also we sold our house. So we had a house that the market was going really well. We were able to sell it and get a really good profit. So with a chunk of that money, I was able to get myself like a pretty good starter collection that I could start doing videos for. So just throwing this out there, I did spend quite a bit of money to get myself going, to get these fragrances and stuff. Like obviously I wasn't irresponsible. I didn't spend half or all of our money or nothing like that. But I picked out very selectively fragrances that I know I want to do, but also that I know people want to see. I did a lot of research and I got a lot of Amouages, like I said, Tom Fords. I knew that over time with my money from my job, I could just get a bunch of cheap ones that people want to see, like all the different Hawas and Hadlaj and stuff like that, Latafas. But at the time, I was like, I might as well go ahead and do like a bunch of orders of Parfums de Marley's and all that stuff. So I'm not going to be doing that no more. Me and my wife have an agreement. I told myself going forwards, I'm only going to spend money on expensive fragrances when I start really making like decent money from YouTube. So that's why I'm starting to do this stuff, doing these live streams, trying to connect with you guys and really build an audience here to give me consistent like hours and stuff like that so that I can make just a little bit of change so that when you guys suggest to me expensive fragrances, I can actually buy them, but I'm not going to spend any more of like our hard earned money because again, and all that stuff, I got a family to take care of. So this right here is kind of the catalyst to get me going if this continues to help me grow this channel and that you guys watch my stuff so that I can afford to get more fragrances. For your Patreon, you can send a test strip of the perfume of the week, month. You know what? That's a fantastic idea. Thank you so much, Adam Rauscher. I think I said your name properly. I'm not sure if you're German or not. But how do you think you say? All right, I'm gonna say that real quick. Fuerteventura. Hopefully, I said that properly, but I'm not Spanish. But did you buy another house? We did. So we sold our old house and we moved an hour and like 15 minutes away, hour 20 minutes away, where we used to live. Wasn't a bad place or nothing. It just wasn't for us. I grew up out in the countryside here in America. I don't know if you can tell by my accent, but I grew up out in the country and I was used to being around fields, farmland, trees, stuff like that. Well, we were living for like 5, almost 6 years in the city. And I liked it. I developed a love for like going to, the mall and stuff like that and experiencing city life and stuff like that. But we both kind of missed the safety and just the niceness and kind of the quiet of being out in the country. So my wife's family happened to live out somewhere in the country. She's originally from up north. She's originally from Pennsylvania, but I had the opportunity. So we moved out in the country. And that's what we're doing now. I'm not going to sit here and say it was the cheapest thing in the world to do, but we did. Andrew, me and my siblings have to go. Well, you know what? That's totally okay. I'm just so grateful that you guys were here. So to every single one of you, May, if you could, please comment everybody's name one more time. So that way I don't remember. But if you guys could comment everybody's name one more time and I'll say goodbye to all of you people. Which cologne would you recommend for the summer? All right. Thank you for asking. That is a good question. So I'm going to go with, one more time, Versace Eros Energy. Versace Eros Energy or Versace Eros Parfum, or very, very specifically, you know what? Before I say that one, a little bit more on the sweeter side, I'm going to suggest for you Xerjoff's Naxos. Very good summer honey tobacco fragrance. I know that might not sound like a summer fragrance, but for me, it is. One more time for you guys who don't remember or haven't heard yet. Xerjoff's 40 Knots, a very good summer fragrance. But to me, the king of kings, I'm going to say Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. This is fantastic, beautiful summer fragrance. To my friends here who are all leaving right now, all my little buddies. So Maisie, Molly, May, Mason, Matthew, Malik, and then Maxwell. Thank every single one of you guys for being here, for being a part of watching my video, this live stream. Every Wednesday going forwards in the morning, I'm going to try to do this and have you guys back here. Anybody who's watching this right now, every Wednesday, I'm going to be coming back. I know I probably bore you guys to death, but whatever you guys want to see me talk about, you want to ask me questions, between now and next week, prepare some questions for me and we will talk. But yeah, so let's see. By the way, what's the absolute cheapest fragrance that you have? So one more time to all my friends, thank you guys so much. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys potentially next week. Bye. Now, to my other buddy here, just passing by. That's his name, by the way. I'm not crazy talking to myself. But to my buddy here asking what's the cheapest fragrance that I have, I'm going to say, the absolute cheapest fragrance that I think I have, other than the bunch of samples that I bought, would probably be the Hawass line. I would say also the other day, this was not very expensive. I got Nitro Red by Dumont. It was a pretty good price. I got this. Do you have a recommendation for a vetiver cologne? Actually, not like a pure straight up, like it's just vetiver. I don't have anything like that. I don't want to be incorrect, and I very well might be, but I'm about to throw this out there. So if I'm wrong, please forgive me. I got this teensy weensy bottle of Terre d'Hermes, and I think that this has vetiver in it. But vetiver and just like patchouli are not my favorite scent profiles in the entire universe, but they are pretty good. But I'm just going to say this, though. I don't pick a lot of stuff that's like very strong vetiver forwards. So I will start looking that up. And maybe next time, if you're here during my next discussion, I might have a better thing to tell you guys. So, like I said, if any of you guys have any other questions for me, I just want you to know. Stick around if you'd like to. It'll only take me like a minute or two, but I'm about to use the bathroom. I'm about to grab my bottle of water real quick. So it'll only take like a minute or two. But if anybody wants to stick around and keep talking, I'll be right back. So just take some time, look at my collection, prepare some questions if you guys would like to. But again, I'll be right back. Just got to run and use the bathroom real quick. Too bad I don't have any music to play for you yet. Okay. Hopefully didn't lose too many of you guys. Thank you guys for still being here. Any of you, we're kidding, we're back. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for being back here. That's a first. Let me see. Hold on. Not having to super chat to hold a conversation. Well, you know what? I don't ever want to do that with you guys. Like when by the way, thank you. I'm so glad May and all the rest of you guys, Molly and everybody else, Maxwell, thank you guys for being here in my league. And I appreciate you. So I'm not going to be on here for an extremely much longer time because I just hit the 2-hour mark. Because I'm also going to get off here and maybe play a little Call of Duty for a little bit. And then I have some other things that I got to go take care of for real. But seriously, here on my stuff, I don't need nobody to ever super chat me or pay me money or anything like that to talk and have conversations. I'm just here with you guys. Again, like I said, I'm just a normal person. I'm not nobody rich, nobody fancy, none of that stuff. So you guys never have to pay to ask me things, and I'm not going to make you ever do that. The only thing that I would like in return from you guys is if, like I said, you hit the subscribe button, you press the like button, share my videos to your social medias if you can. And then also, just definitely comment like on my real videos whenever you see my real videos on my channel. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull that up real quick just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. But yeah, like I said, I'm never gonna ask you guys to pay me anything to talk to me and stuff like that because I'm just grateful that you're here. So I just want you guys to be watching. And it's May and all of you guys, I appreciate you so much. It will be interesting when you start doing reviews on cheaper fragrances. There's actually a lot of cheaper fragrances that are good. And my friend, you are absolutely correct. Actually, so my buddy here who just commented is one of my longest time genuine supporters, really good buddy here. And I feel like a piece of junk because I've never, other than just calling you by what I see your screen name, I actually forgot how to, what is your actual name? What do you want me to call you? I feel bad if you're willing to tell me. I feel bad for saying that because I just literally don't remember. But please, if you can, remind me, tell me. But to show you guys real fast what I'm talking about, here on my main channel, you see I've got Guerlain, L'Homme Idéal Extreme. I've got my Parfums de Marly Hautaine versus Oud for Greatness, and then Victor Rolf Extreme Spice Bomb, Tom Ford Lost Cherry. So all of my main videos on my channel, that is the stuff that I'd like you guys, if you can, as a birthday present or just in general for support, when you can, go watch them. The longer you watch a YouTuber's video, the higher their watch time goes, and the higher a YouTuber's watch time goes, the more it gets pushed out there in the algorithm. So when any of you guys who are supportive and like my stuff, thank you so much. Go check out the real videos. Try to let them play all the way through. Bust out every cell phone in the house and pull them bad boys up. Like, comment, and then, like I said, subscribe. So that's the last I'm going to say about that until the end of this stream. But thank you guys so much. Just call me Jam. That's short for my name. I will 100% do that. I will call you Jam from now on, my friend. My dad likes Victor and Rolf. Victor Wolf is not how you spell it. Victor and Rolf. Sorry about that. My name's Sammy, or a lot of people call me. Dude, I've been calling you the completely wrong thing this whole time. Well, thank you for being here, Sammy. That is awesome. I'm going to start calling you Sammy because I like that. That brings me a lot of joy. I'm grateful that you're here. And Jam, thank you for being here. It makes me excited to get all you guys' names correctly so I can actually talk to you properly and give you the respect that you deserve. If anybody ever watches my videos and you have a screen name when you comment on here, tell me your real name because when I address you during these live streams, I want to call you by your actual name and be respectful. Just like, like for me, my channel name is Douglas Moon. You can call me Douglas. You can call me my wife doesn't want other people saying this because it's her special thing, but she calls me Dougie because that's just our special name that she calls me, as silly as you guys might think that is. But my middle name is Douglas. That's why I call this the Douglas Moon Fragrance channel. But my real name's Andrew, and Andrew, a lot of people call me Drew. Whatever you want to call me. As a matter of fact, you guys who watch my live streams, if you want to come up with a nickname for me that you want to call me something, as long as it ain't offensive, it won't offend me, but as long as it ain't offensive to other people who are watching, I don't care what it is. Call me whatever you want. But like I said, I want to know you guys' real names, though, so I can be respectful to you guys. But thank you, Sammy, for watching. Thank you, Jam, and everybody else. And Victor and Rolf, that is the correct name for that. So I don't know if it shows up backwards or not on my screen, but I got the little grenade boy here. Dang, it's not focusing in. Well, I've got Victor and Rolf's Spice Bomb Extreme, and I just did the review for that the other day, and this is a fantastic fragrance. And I know a lot of people like this. It's not my personal favorite. Also, as anybody will hear me complain like 1,000 times about, I don't like things with little jingly pieces on them. I know that's a pet peeve, like a stupid thing to have a problem with, but just like Jean Paul Gaultier La Male line and all their stuff has those little dingly grenade pieces on them. I don't know why, but I hate that kind of stuff. When I got in the other day, the Nitro Red by Dumont, when I saw it had this little doohickey on here, I was like, dude, really? Why y'all companies got to do that? Just keep it nice and simple for the rest of us, will you? They have it on TUI Airlines, and that's when my dad first got it. Well, your dad made a good choice. Like I said, Victor and Rolf, like Spice Bomb, might not be my first pick. If he likes that, your dad very well might like something like Dior Sauvage Elixir. Or, honestly, even though it is different, I've been suggesting the crap out of this. Again, I'm not sponsored. I know this is popular right now, but I'm not sponsored. So when I show you this, it's because I actually really like it. But for $35, your dad right here, tell him to check out Latafa. It's spelled Khamrah, but it's pronounced Hamra, I believe is how you say it. You don't say Kamra. But either Humra or the one with a Q. Look for Humra and then Kawa with a Q. These are like fantastic sugar cookie, spice, cinnamon type of fragrances, and I think that they are amazing. And they're cheap, so your dad might like those if you want to get him a Christmas present or a birthday gift sometime soon. By the way, you said your birthday was recently. Just want to throw this out there. I hope you got some nice gifts, and I hope that it was a good time with you and your family. But again, thank you all so much for having been watching so far, and I appreciate you guys. So, before I get into talking just a little bit more about life, and before I get into talking a little bit more about my personal favorite fragrances and taking you through that, I just want to remind you guys, to everybody who's watching, hopefully, by the way, can you guys let me know if you can still hear me pretty good? This is a cheap but still new microphone, and I don't want to be blasting you guys' eardrums off. So if you need me to move it farther away, or if it's good right here, whatever, just let me know. But I appreciate you guys. But one more time, before I get to talking more about some of my favorite fragrances, I would just like to let you guys remember to ask me questions about whatever you would like to know. So, with that being said, yeah, I can hear you fine. Thank you so much for letting me know, because I have been worried about that. But my personal favorite fragrances in the entire world boils down to this. It took a while because I was comparing and contrasting. Thank you, Sammy, for letting me know. I was comparing and contrasting between Xerjoff's Naxos and this one, Reflection by Amouage. It took a little while, but I finally realized, you know what? This is my absolute favorite fragrance in the entire world. By the way, yes, it has been 2 hours, and I'm so happy that you've been here this whole time. So anybody watching continuously and supporting means so much to me. But seriously, Amouage Reflection, no, you don't have to be sorry at all. Don't, please, never apologize unless anybody's like being rude and hateful to other people here in my comments. No need to ever apologize for asking anything or for saying anything. That actually does remind me, though. I know that saying that is a British phrase, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I did want to say earlier to anybody watching who's younger or who has a family or children and you might be watching my videos around, I don't cuss very often out loud around friends and family, like saying swear words. I don't have a problem if other people do, as long as you're being respectful to other people's families and cultures, especially in public. I find it to be very distasteful when people are cussing out loud. I know that people say it's a free world, so do whatever you want. Okay. But I personally think that it's disrespectful when you are around different people who might be different cultures, different backgrounds, and you have no idea. So when you are in public, I don't think that it's okay to just say, I'm going to do what I want, even if it offends other people. I think when you're in public, you should be respectful of potentially different beliefs and different backgrounds. So I don't cuss out loud in public. And one thing you'll never see me do is on my videos, I don't say swear words. So again, absolutely, May, you don't have to be sorry because you didn't do anything wrong. But I just want to let you guys know that I'm not personally ever going to be doing it in any of my videos. Not that I think that it's bad or awful if other people do it in their videos. But I want to be respectful to anybody and everybody who watches. So you're just not going to hear me do that. So just throwing it out there. But I was wondering if you are working with anybody like an editor, thumbnail creator, or other. So I'm not right now. A couple of people have contacted me about potentially getting into doing that for me, but I just don't really have the money to throw out there for other people to like help me out right now. So I've just been kind of trying not to do that, since I don't have the money to like pay somebody anything if they would like to, because I'm already putting money into my fragrances, into equipment and stuff in general. I can't really give someone like $100 every video, or even $10 or $15 every video for just doing a thumbnail for me. So yeah, I've been doing it all by myself so far. But I appreciate you guys, and thank you for asking. If you do thumbnails or anything like that, if you ever want to work together down the road or something, I could check that out. But with all that being said, continue, guys, to throw me your questions and say whatever you like to ask me. And just to start with, like I said, one more time, Reflection by Amouage, my personal #1 favorite fragrance that exists. And then underneath there, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, is Naxos by Xerjoff. Although I will say, for the most part, oh, hey, Maxwell, thank you for being here. What is your favorite called? I'll show you one more time, my friend. My favorite is by Amouage. This is, hopefully you can see it, Amouage. And then the scent is Reflection. Hopefully you can see that. But hey, Maxwell, thank you for being back here, buddy. But this is my favorite fragrance. This is Reflection by Amouage. And then tied with that, although just a little bit underneath it, so not really tied, it's second place, but kind of tied as number one, is Naxos by Xerjoff, Naxos. These are two more expensive fragrances. So, yeah, bro, that is an expensive collection. Yes, Tyler French, it is. So somebody asked me earlier, and I'm going to try to rehash this real quick. Not very long ago, me and my wife sold our house. We moved. We bought a new house, but with a chunk of that money that I had, I went between either full price or on discounters, like trustworthy discounters, and collected all these bad boys so that I could get a kickstart. Because I've loved fragrances with all my heart since I was young. I saw a lot of fragrance reviewers were out here. Some of them were being honest, but some of the most popular fragrance reviewers, we for real have to go now. Well, I'll see you guys later, and I thank you so much for having been watching so far. So to May, Molly, Maxwell, Malik, and everybody else, thank you for watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. So bye. And then also to get back to what I was saying real quick, so that I remember, I saw a lot of YouTubers were reviewing videos and stuff like that. But my problem is when they were doing it, there's a lot of honest ones, but the most popular ones I was seeing, the ones who were getting the most views and the most comments, convincing the most people to spend their money, they were lying. And I'm not saying that maybe they don't really like some of the stuff that they have, but if you see people going above and beyond that YouTuber behavior, so you see, I'm casually talking to you guys right now, but if you guys ever see somebody who's like, oh my God, this fragrance right here, hold on, let me show you. So if somebody ever pops up on the screen, they're like, gee whiz, I've got Hawass Ice. This is the best fragrance of all time. If you see people doing stuff like that or being just a little too much, too many smiles and big eyes and kind of looking a little bit crazy, they're probably fake. They're probably overdoing it. Not that there's not calm people who's also trying to push things on you, but there's a lot of people who are sponsored and receive like buttloads of free fragrances all the time. Maybe I can create a few thumbnails for you. Well, hey, man, I would appreciate that. If you'd like to, I would thank you so much just passing by. If you would like to, I would thank you so much. If you wanted to try that sometime, I would appreciate it. And as far as Cal Cologne goes, to be honest with you, I think he's a cool dude. I've watched a few of his things. I don't know him personally. I've never spoke to him. I've never spoke to a single other person in the fragrance community. I'm new here. Just throwing it out there. Like, I'm not really considered like a big time or successful YouTuber in the fragrance world. I just started. I have a high subscriber count, and yet I don't have a high viewership. How that happened, I don't fully know, but I have seen that a couple of my videos did really well in specific countries, and a lot of people shuffled through and subscribed. And I kind of looked it up through my analytics, and I saw that there are certain parts of the world where people are more likely to subscribe to a lot of channels, but guess where that goes wrong? If certain people subscribe to like a bunch of channels, but they have too much on their subscriber feed, guess what? They're not really going to see your videos when you post them, are they? If somebody subscribed like 10 channels, anytime that one of those people posts something, you're probably going to see it. If somebody subscribed to 1,000 channels, what's the chances they're going to see your video, right? So I got a lot of subscribers pretty fast because certain regions of the world that I am grateful for subscribe to my videos. By the way, people ask me if I've ever did paid promotions on YouTube, and I just want to make this very clear to you. If you're starting a YouTube account, for the love of all goodness, don't do that. Do you want to know why I say don't do that? Because 2 videos, I paid like $15 to try to boost them when some of my other stuff were doing good. Guess what it did? It killed their watch time. Absolutely destroyed their watch time. So I just want you to know that when people pay for promotions on their YouTube videos or any other website, it shuffles those videos through people's feeds. But guess what? It kills your watch time. So again, I've tried that on a few videos and it destroyed those videos for me. So please, just recommending if you're trying to start a channel, don't do that. Somebody asked me, okay, yeah, so one more time, back to Cal Cologne. Like I said, nobody on this earth who's in the fragrance community has reached out to me. Again, I'm too new. My stuff's doing kind of all right. But I think that probably only people who've been around the block for a while actually have been reached out to and stuff like that. So hopefully one day other people in the fragrance community hit me up and would like to do I'm always down to make new friends, to do collaborations. Again, the only thing I won't do is fake stuff. So if people in the fragrance community hit me up and want to hang out and be friends or meet each other and talk about fragrances, I will do that. I just won't fake crap. You got the right charisma, the American Aaron Terrence. Dude, I want to stop the bricks right now. Aaron Terrence Hughes, to anybody watching this, he was my biggest inspiration. Aaron Terrence Hughes, because he's a professional perfumer. Him and Chris from Fragmental. Those were my two biggest inspirations in the fragrance world. So if you guys don't know who they are, Aaron Terrence Hughes and Chris from Fragmental, please check them out. So again, your people like Cal Cologne and Aromatics and stuff, they're pretty decent people. I don't know them. They're probably awesome guys, but they're good, like, reviewers. They also get sent lots of free stuff, as everybody does. But I don't know them personally, so I'm sure they're great people, and maybe I'll meet them one day. But as far as like my personal inspirations to do YouTube, some of the people I looked up to and felt like I could truly trust was Aaron Terrence Hughes and Chris from Fragmental, because they're serious, they are genuine, and they're not doing that wacky, zany, crazy YouTube stuff, which is okay. If you like that kind of stuff for fun or for entertainment. By the way, thank you so much, Tyler French, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Anybody here, JJ, any of you guys who hit the subscribe button, thank you so much. It means the world to me. And as I keep trying to do, people coming through here, if you check out my videos, please do remember that when you watch people's videos, how long you watch them before you click away makes the biggest deal for how much it goes through the algorithm. So watch time and click through rate, all that stuff, extremely important. So any of you guys who check out my main channel or my channel here, please feel free to go through and actually watch the videos, comment. It also helps the algorithm a lot. But yes, liking, commenting, and then watching videos all the way through, or at least half the way through, goes the longest way with helping YouTubers get out there in the algorithm, and sharing people's videos to like Reddit, sharing people's videos to your Facebooks, whatever, also helps a lot. So if any of you guys watching, I really want to continue to grow this thing, and that way I can make money to get more fragrances so that I can review fragrances for you guys, whether you want to see me do something cheap or expensive. So thank you guys again. I'm sorry that I keep bringing that up, but as a YouTuber, it's what I have to do. I have to bring that stuff up so I can keep getting you guys to understand how this works. But anyways, bringing it back in, dude. Aaron Terrence Hughes inspired me so much. I actually, for a little while there, was trying to genuinely, I bought all like the textbooks for like maths, chemistry, and perfumery because I wanted to learn more. I really wish I could go to school and like get a chemistry degree and learn and study actual perfumery myself. But I don't have the ability to do that. It costs too much. It would take too much time. Like I said, I work full time. I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I won't be able to go to school, even though I wish I could. Maybe if I ever like get a full time career out doing YouTube, I can go to school and like try to do that. If I didn't have to work to pay bills. But as for right now, there's no way I can do that. But Aaron Terrence Hughes inspired me because I was like, how awesome would it be to be able to make my own fragrance? But you never know. If my channel gets big enough, maybe one day I can do that. Maybe if my channel gets big enough, maybe one day I can at least connect with like a company and have my own fragrance made. And I've thought a lot about that. If I was to have my own fragrance made, what would it smell like? What would be the scent profiles? I really don't know. Living the American dream. Hey, man, I try. I like to believe, like, as somebody who, so here's the big thing. I'm about to get personal with you guys for a second because it's been a very long stream. I'm still going to go for a little bit longer before I fully stop. But anybody who's been watching so far, I want to get real with you guys for a second, more than normal. When my birthday hits, to anybody who's seen before, you probably already heard me say this, but to anybody who's just stopping by, you probably haven't. When my birthday hits in just a week and a half or 2 weeks, however long it is, it will be 7 years since I got sober, since I quit drinking, since I quit doing bad things that I shouldn't have been doing. It'll be 7 whole years since I started taking care of myself. And like I lost over 100 pounds. I started really just changing my life. So when I say that, thank you, Tyler, for being here. It has been 7 years since I got sober, 7 years since I changed my life. Again, I lost over 110, 115 pounds. So being here today, when I almost wasn't here, like I'm not going to say the words because I don't think you can do that on YouTube, but being here today, by the way, congratulations, dude. 2018, my buddy here being sober. So awesome. Congratulations to you for your time that you spent. I'm not against anybody out there having casual drinks or anything like that. People who, want to indulge themselves, that's totally okay. I'm just saying that I'm celebrating in just a week and a half, 7 years of me being sober myself. That means the world to me that you're saying that, my friend. I'm grateful that you're here because like I said, it means so much to me to see that people can see when I show you my channel, when I show you my fragrances and I ever take you around and show you my life, I want to let you know that having one life to live, the decisions that you make is extremely important. It is up to you every day. I personally believe in God. No offense to anybody who doesn't. And I'm not going to be the type of person who gets on here and gets like mega religious or anything like that. But I do believe that there's more than this. And if I lose subscribers, if I lose people viewing right now, that's okay. But I just want to be real with you guys. I believe that there's not just flesh and bone. And if you think that that's stupid, that's okay. My personal experiences, I've seen a lot of loss of life. I've personally come close to the edge a handful of times. And I can honestly say that I've had some miracle experiences in my life that are beyond just like the rational. And so for me to be standing here today and to know so many people who didn't make it, but also to know so many people who overcame, I believe you truly have free will and making decisions to get rid of bad things from your life that are holding you down. You are not truly a slave to things the way you think you are and the way you feel like you are. Sometimes we just get really addicted and attached to things that are bad for us. So like I said, I'm 2 weeks away or a week and a half away. I don't know the exact date, but I'm right there at 7 years of being sober and taking care of myself. Still making a lot of mistakes along the way. Me and my wife gained like 30 whole pounds since we originally had our wedding a year and a half ago. We've been together for years, but we officially got married a year and a half ago, or a little over that actually now. And I'm not going to pretend we haven't been eating like crazy and gained some weight and stuff. So I got to obviously lose weight and all that stuff, but just throwing it out there that you are capable of doing anything. So when I do this YouTube, when I show you guys my life, it's not to brag, it's not to be a douchebag, it's just to let you know anything's possible. So with that being said, have I tried Les Indomitables Vanille Havane? I don't even know how to pronounce that properly, but I have not. With you saying that though, I am going to do what I've been doing this entire stream, and that is taking photos. Whenever somebody comments something, I've been trying to take pictures so that I can actually keep the name of stuff and I can go back and check it out later, because I feel like it would be very useful for me to do that. Same, bro. I'm a crisis worker in my local hospitals here in Indiana. People get treatment facilities, and it's absolutely, it's extreme. So I'm going to say this to my other buddy here commenting about that fragrance. Thank you so much for recommending that and suggesting that, because I really look forward to trying it out. Like I said, now that I got all these that I still have to do reviews for, because literally most of this wall is fragrances that I haven't even filmed full reviews for yet. I'm not currently, unless it's cheapies and dupes, going to be spending any more expensive money. I'm going to be waiting until hopefully I start getting paid like a pretty okay amount here doing YouTube. That's why I'm trying to do these lives, connect with you guys, promote everything, so that way hopefully I can start accumulating that so I can buy more. But with that being said, I will have that on my list, and I'll definitely check that out. And anybody who watches these things, again, I can't stress enough, if you've got fragrances you'd like to see me review and talk about, please feel free to comment and let me know. But to my buddy Tyler French here, I appreciate you and thank you so much for the work that you're doing out there working with people as a crisis worker. That is extremely important, because there's a lot of people who are suffering. There's a lot of people who are strong addicts and who are going through a lot of pain. And the biggest problem is people don't necessarily have support for each other. Just like I talked about earlier to anybody who's been watching for a while, we live in a world full of people who support basically anything. And when I say that, the word support isn't really the right word. We live in a world where people just kind of allow or even encourage all the wrong things, instead of saying to people, hey, dude, that's not good. That's not good for you. That thing you're doing, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to try a little harder. So my wife goes back and watches my review videos, and she tells me things that she saw that I could have did differently or said differently. She doesn't do it in a mean way. She does it in a loving way, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. Every now and then there's some stuff where I'm like, I don't know about that. But she does it because she's trying to help me. When I see her work, when I see her projects, I try to tell her as well, because I believe when you care about people, you should let them know if there's things they could do different. If any of you guys watch any of my reviews and my videos and there's stuff you'd like to see me do a little differently, or maybe some questions you'd like me to start answering for you guys, I would love for you to let me know so I can start doing that for you. What are my current top 5 faves? So that's a very good question. And I don't know who all is still watching. So as this has been a long stream, I'm going to rehash some stuff I've already been through. But my current top 5 faves, maybe I'll answer that a little different, because instead of telling you my top 5 favorites in the entire world, like that will always be that way, you asked me for current. So I'll tell you that. At this very moment, it is a tie between Liquid Broom by French Avenue. Liquid Broom by French Avenue is tied in the same vein as an Altair dupe, but to me, even better than Parfums de Marly. Again, anybody can get mad at that if you want to. I'm not sorry. I love Parfums de Marly. I have now and have had almost every fragrance that they have, every single one of them except for Pegasus Exclusive. So other than Pegasus Exclusive and Kalan, the red bottle, and Godolphin. So there's more than I thought. But as far as the men's fragrances goes, other than Kalan, Godolphin, and Pegasus Exclusive, I have had or do have every PDM fragrance. And I want you to know that Altair was one of my favorites, but I gave it away because I didn't want to keep burning through it while also feeling guilty because of expensive as it was. So I literally gave it to a friend who loved it when I got introduced to Liquid Broom and Vanilla Dunes. Again, I'm not sponsored, so nobody's paying me to say this, but I absolutely love these fragrances so much. They are even better than the original because their performance is insane. They're like $30 to $35 a piece. But genuinely, they are fantastic fragrances. So I would say current top 5, those are tied for number 1. I would say by the same company, Hadlaj Island is one of my top 5 favorites at the moment because I already have, and one of my wife's favorite fragrances that I have is Le Beau Le Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier. To answer my buddy Tyler here, I did. I gave the bottle away because I just used it a lot, and then I just left it sitting there for a long time because I was like, it's so expensive. I don't want to just burn through this. I have a lot of expensive fragrances, but I don't wear the expensive ones very often. Mid-range price ones, like designers, like Jean-Paul Gaultier's, I will wear those pretty often because they're not too bad. But for the most part, I've just been trying to burn through these cheap ones lately on my day-to-day use or my roll-on fragrances for day-to-day use. But Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum is a fantastic fragrance. It's one of my wife's favorite fragrances of all time. So in its place, Hadlaj Island has been a really good day-to-day wear with fantastic performance, great summer fragrances. Been wanting to check out that one for yourself. If you like Amouage, check out Thymine. I think it's Thymine you said. So I definitely would like to check that out then. Word is Christopher Chong is there now after Amouage. Well, all right now. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I'll have to check them out. I hadn't even heard of that company before, but I do. I like Amouages a lot because even though not every fragrance of theirs is absolutely my favorite. Sorry, that was probably gross to do too close to the microphone. Not every Amouage is my absolute favorite. I know a lot of people kind of hyped up Jubilation, and to be honest with you, it's a pretty nice smell, but it's kind of I know it's a little strange to say because I love stuff like Naxos by Xerjoff or 40 Knots, and to some people those are kind of old man scents. But this one, definitely to me, Jubilation has a very genuinely old man type of fragrance. There's other Amouages that I like that I wear from time to time, but they're not exactly something I'd say is the best thing ever. They're just pretty okay. And that's not pretty okay, but they're just not my main deal. But this right here is Imitation Man by Amouage. And it's a fruity floral type of scent, but it's for men, but it has a very almost a bright soda type of fragrance. If you know what I mean, if you ever get the chance to give this a shot, it's one of my favorite Amouage bottles. But 100%, there's fragrances that I really like, but that I just don't wear a whole lot of. But to continue with my buddy earlier, sometimes I get a little sidetracked, especially it's been 2.5 hours. So I'm trying to bring it back in. I will be ending this stream pretty soon. So like I said, if anybody has any questions you'd like to ask me, please go ahead, drop them in here while you still can. But after I get off this stream, if you guys have any time, once I'm done here, please go check out my other videos. Give them, like I said, watches, subscribe, all that stuff. Let's see, check into women's Amouages as well. So since you said that, I have Honor and a couple of other ones. I only got samples of them, but I got them because I wanted my wife to check them out. What's funny though, my wife actually likes wearing and smelling the men's Amouages more for the most part, whereas I kind of enjoy the women's fragrances. Let's see, Vanille Havane. Let's see. Yep, definitely. I will check those out because I love vanilla fragrances. I love boozy vanilla, tobacco-y type of fragrances. Excuse me. Anything with honey, stuff like that. Absolutely love that kind of stuff. Orange Sirocco by the House is really good. See, this is what I'm talking about. I thank you guys so much for leaving me these comments, which I just realized, by the way, I don't actually have to take photos because I forgot that when you do a live, you can go back and look at the stream chat. So I'm not going to keep taking pictures, but I do appreciate you guys leaving me these suggestions. But yeah, to kind of round off my current favorite fragrances, I would say Hamra by Lattafa and the Kala version as well tied. And then probably going to say Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana. This is one of the most wonderful, true, like vanilla waffle cone ice cream fragrances that I've ever smelled. This is $150, so it's not the cheapest in the world. If you're the type of person who doesn't mind springing that kind of cash for things like a male elixir or something like that, then I definitely recommend trying this out. Because if you like vanilla fragrances and you're interested in something with a little bit more creamy type of coffee feel, the coffee is very light in this, but that vanilla, like I said, it smells true to the core like a vanilla waffle cone. So if you get the chance, Giardini di Toscana's Bianco Latte is an incredible fragrance. I actually just the other day filmed like a full review. I haven't posted it yet, but I did film the full review for that. And I'm very excited to actually put it out there. But even though it's not exactly the same, similar in the same vein, I talked about this earlier, Cafe Latte by Hadlaj, the same people who make Vanilla Dunes and Island. It's not the same exact fragrance because this has like a licorice note and it also has a little bit more of like that caramel overall feel. This wasn't meant to be a clone of that. This is supposed to be like Amor Cafe by Mancera. But honestly, I just got this in the other day and it blows my mind. Very strong. It's supposed to be an extrait de parfum. Doesn't always mean that it's going to be that powerful. Because I kind of try to tell people this all the time. Like I said this in my last stream, but I'm going to say this a handful of times so people actually really understand this. But seeing parfum, eau de parfum, elixir, which a lot of times if something says elixir, ironically, it is an eau de parfum, even though it's supposed to be the strongest concentration. It really just depends, though, about the materials that were used and how well it was blended and how well your hormones work with it. It's going to stick to your skin. But like I have the original Amouage Interlude. Hey, my buddies are back. You guys came back literally just as I was about to hop off. So I'm only going to do this for a little bit longer. But I'm so grateful that you guys are back. But just real quick, I was going to say, if you get Amouage's Interlude, a lot of people go from saying, hey, maybe I should try Interlude 53. But to be real with you, I have Interlude 53 here. And other than just being a little bit cooler of a bottle, obviously it's a much higher concentration. But the higher concentration of perfume oil, the more it just kind of sticks to your skin for like an extremely long time. But this one's really like performance-wise, it performs well, but it doesn't just explode off of your skin as much, for me personally, as the original Amouage Interlude. Amouage. As well as, as you can see, I'm starting to run out of a little bit of steam, but that's okay. Because like I said, we're about to come to a close. My mind's remembering that I got other stuff that I got to go do. But Amouage's Interlude Black Iris, this is like a more mass appealing version of the original. It's a little bit sweeter, a little bit brighter. But like I said, sometimes people just buy stuff because it's supposed to be a higher concentration. That doesn't always mean everything. But definitely some of these fragrances are fantastic. So before I wrap it up and before I go, if anybody out there has any more questions, or would like to talk about anything, whether you want to ask me something about me, my life, fragrances, have I tried the Billie Eilish perfume? Funny that you say that, because just like the Ariana Grande fragrance, that same friend of mine from work also has that one, and she says that it's fantastic. You'd like followed by kerosene, especially if you like coffee notes. Well, I'll have to check that out. I do really like coffee notes a lot. I don't like them when they're bitter, but I like them when they're well blended and have like that touch of sweetness. So I'll have to check that out, and I really appreciate you for suggesting that. But yeah, the Billie Eilish perfume, my friend at work, Zakia, she has had that as well, and she's wore it. I don't like it as much as I like the Ariana Grande fragrance. It's just not my style. Not that I'd wear either one of them necessarily, but to give you an idea, my wife, she wears Black Opium by YSL. This is the, I don't know which edition this is because they have like a different name, but this is the this is the one that has like a little bit of glittery feel on the bottle. I actually like feeling that. I know that might sound a little silly, but I like feeling the glitter. So, but I get a little silly for the glilly, I guess you could say. That was very stupid. I'm sorry. But this is my wife's favorite fragrance right now. And ironically, she blends this Oh, she does? Your older sister has that? Which one? The Billie Eilish or this one? Either way, I hope she enjoys it. But my wife actually blends Black Opium, this version by YSL, with Reflection by Amouage. So it's funny because even though Reflection is my favorite fragrance, well, hey, your sister has fantastic taste in. The Black Opium smells fantastic. I love it. My wife wears it a lot. And like I said, she blends it a lot with my favorite fragrance, which is Reflection by Amouage. So I don't personally wear that often, even though it's my favorite one in the world. But she just loves it. My wife also has, but she doesn't wear very often, the Dolce & Gabbana Blue Jasmine. This is newer. If you like more rich floral type of stuff, more traditional, but yet not like cheap smelling floral fragrances, I would recommend this as well. And as well, my wife got a coffee oriented, I guess, a coffee centric fragrance very recently. And that is the new Dolce & Gabbana's Devotion. This one's one that I really enjoy. Like, what does Reflection smell like? I'll explain that in just a second. You know what? This is fantastic. I have not smelled this in a while. I forgot all about it, to be honest with you. My wife doesn't wear this a whole lot. This is very interesting, though. So Devotion by Dolce & Gabbana, when you spray it into the atmosphere, it smells like a much richer version of that Bianco Latte that I was just talking about. The Sabrina Carpenter perfume. I have not smelled that. That one I've only heard of. That same friend of mine from work, she brought it up. But other than the Billie Eilish and the Ariana Grande, I haven't smelled that one yet. But I would like to give it a shot. Probably when I go to the mall later today, I might see if it's there. Let me see. So what does Reflection smell like? To be honest with you, it's a little difficult to explain because there's a lot of fragrances that are super nice, but yet generic enough that you can kind of give a full description of it. This one, though, is extremely distinct and kind of its own thing. And that is, they say it's like a buttery iris, but not buttery like fruit, like food or cooking food. But when I think of this fragrance, it is like the most distinct and unique floral fragrance you've ever smelled. But don't let that get you confused, because when I say that I love rose fragrances, you don't get that. Like when you think of traditional lily of the valley rose, gardenia type of scent, it's nothing like that. It's this is like if God opened up the sky, took a cloud and said, hey, I'm going to let you smell like what I thought a cloud would smell like. And it's the most beautiful thing. Like if an angel floated by you and just farted. If an angel floated by you and farted straight in your face, but it wasn't gross, it was just nice. That's a horrible description. But to me, that's what Reflection smells like. It's just the most beautiful, ethereal type of experience, but it's floral. It's just different. So this person asked me just now, Mega Man 2016, said, what's my top 4 fragrances? So one more time, I'm going to run through this real quick. Amouage Reflection, and then Xerjoff Naxos, Xerjoff 40 Knots. And at this moment, I don't know what I'll say exactly is in that 4th place because a lot of things kind of rotate through it. But I will say one of my favorite fragrances of all time that I haven't brought up yet is Tom Ford's Ombre Leather Parfum. To answer my buddy here real quick, he got it for your birthday. Well, your boyfriend is an awesome dude, and I'm happy that he got you that, and I hope that you absolutely love it. I also haven't smelled the Taylor Swift perfume. Well, I have, but it's been a very long time, so I don't remember really what it smells like. But I know that it was supposed to be, it's pretty nice. Kind of basic, but still pretty nice. Molly asked about the Taylor Swift. So yeah, thank you for asking, Molly. Like I said, I don't really remember what it smells like because it's been a very long time. You'll love the House of Argos. If you like rose, you got to. Thank you so much for saying that then, because I do. You might not have seen earlier, so thank you for letting me know now. But I love, love, love rose fragrances. Like I said, absolute favorite rose fragrances, Rose Incense by Amouage. Definitely got Boadicea Victorious, or Boadicea Victorious is Ardent. Roses Greedy, and then Roses Vanille by Mancera. But yeah, Reflection Man smells like JPG Le Male. So for me personally, I don't smell that at all. I love Le Male. I love Reflection. I have every Le Male you can get your hands on, except for I don't have Ultra Male anymore. But I don't even remotely smell that JPG Le Male feel, except there's a reason I say that. The original people don't compare it to that much, but there is a version of Reflection, and that's Reflection 45, which I've not smelled. I want to get my nose on it, but I'm kind of afraid that people say that smells just like JPG. I'm nervous about smelling that one because I'm afraid that I'm going to love it. And the cost of Reflection 45 is so high. Well, let me tell you something. I got Interlude 53, like right when we first sold the house and I was building my little collection here. I got Interlude 53 at a discounted price. It was from a reputable dealer, but I got it for a major discount. But I just want you to know, so my version of Reflection is the original. It's just Amouage Reflection Man. This is the original Eau de Parfum. Reflection 45 is just like the difference between Interlude and Interlude 53. It is a super high concentration. It is 45% perfume oil, just like Amouage Interlude 53. Compared to the original, which I don't know for sure, but it might be around like a 25 or so percentage oil, it's 53% perfume oil. Well, the same thing goes for Reflection. Reflection Man is what I have. So for me, I just don't smell that Lamel scent. Now, other people's noses are different, but for me, I don't smell Lamel when I smell the original Reflection Man. But I haven't smelled 45, and I do know that a lot of people, like Chris from Fragmental, says that it smells just like that. And I'm going to answer a shop called Argos. Well, I've never been to the UK just yet, but hopefully we will at some point. But you guys have to go to your aunt's house. Well, you know what, May? I hope that you and your siblings all have the best time at your aunt's house. And I've been so thankful for you guys being here, for commenting, for talking to me during this time. It has helped me keep this stream going. It has brought me extreme amounts of joy and really made my day. So to May and the rest of you guys, all of you guys listening, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And whether you're at the next stream or not, I'm just grateful that you were here. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again when I get the chance. So you guys have a great day. As for everybody else who's still watching, this is also definitely in my top 10. I don't know what number exactly I would put it, but Tom Ford's Ombre Leather Parfum. The original Ombre Leather is also fantastic. But this one here, you prefer the original Reflection to 45. So that's what I'm saying. Here's the issue, and I'm glad you brought up sandalwood because when I was asked about it, I forgot to mention. So along with iris, I think sandalwood's one of my, bye May, bye everybody. Sandalwood is one of my absolute favorite fragrance profile notes. And that's actually one of the main notes in this Ombre Leather Parfum. One of the main notes that goes with that leather accord is sandalwood. Sandalwood by itself isn't my favorite. At my job, we have concentrated sandalwood. It's not one of my favorite things to smell by itself, but it gives you that beachy, earthy, musky type of feel, but not in like a dark, dusky way. But sandalwood is fantastic. And then it blends with this, or the way that it is with the iris and the other notes in Reflection Man, one of my favorite things in the entire world, a perfect backup and support. So yeah, definitely fantastic. Again, I haven't tried Reflection 45, but I will say that's what I was talking about earlier, is when you have a higher perfume oil concentration, you're going to get really good longevity. But projection actually becomes better when you go less oil, more alcohol. Now, this is something I'm not professional, but I learned from watching Aaron Terrence Hughes, is because he is a professional perfumer, and he's talked about that a lot, about how the more higher level, like an eau de toilette, is going to last very little, depending on what fragrance it is, for the most part. An eau de toilette fragrance, kind of similar to Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue or the original Sauvage. An eau de toilette is going to last very little time, but when you first spray it on, the alcohol burns it quickly and it kind of has a lot of projection. The higher up percentage you go, eau de parfum, all that stuff, extract, everything, elixir, the more you're going to get it to stick to you for a very long time, especially depending on the material, but the less overall performance as far as projection you're going to get, because it's mostly just going to stick to your skin once those top notes have burned away. So that's my experience with Interlude 53 versus the original Interlude. Original Interlude as an eau de parfum was made just dense enough and just right that it blasts off of your skin and lasts forever off your clothes and stuff. When I wore Interlude 53 multiple times, it stays forever, but it's mostly close to you. How do I like Oud Mineral? That's a question that I love to answer, because just like I love Ombre Leather Parfum, Oud Mineral is just such a unique and distinct. This is such a distinct fragrance because the way that they've built this is different. And this is one of those rare fragrances, just like when I smell Reflection Man, when I smell Interlude as well. I get super excited when I smell a fragrance that is its own thing, that yeah, sure, there's copies out there, but sometimes when you go to the mall and you smell a lot of Prada fragrance or things like that, or YSL, there can be things about it that are like different but still kind of familiar, right? Just like if a lot of you have ever smelled Davidoff Cool Water. There's like a scent profile that's like very familiar, and you're gonna smell this like a Bod Men spray or something, or like things along those lines. But when you smell something that's very distinct and unique, it sticks to you forever. And I bought this full price, not even from a discount or nothing, the day that I smelled it for the first time. I don't know what it was, but it was like a nice hot day. I walked into a Sephora just for fun, just to give things a whiff, a little whiff-a-rooney. And I picked up, I had not seen this before, but I saw the bottle and I was like, well, that's pretty nice. Some of my favorite colors is like, creamy beige. It reminds me of old Greg. Some of my favorite colors are like a brown, earthy, creamy beige type of feel. And when I saw this bottle, it's not beige, but it's like a rich goldy brown, like a bronze. And I just picked it up and I gave it a whiff and I was like, this is different. When they call it mineral, it doesn't smell like oud. So it smells like there's the lightest amount of like a little bit of an agarwood blend underneath it, but very lightly to give you like that little bit of beechwood type of feel, not sandalwood, but like that beechwood type of feel, like you're walking down the sand and there's a nice little like washed up piece of driftwood. That's kind of what the agarwood or oudy feel is supposed to do underneath this, is like an afterthought. But the scent profile has, like, when it's called mineral, it's really interesting, and whoever made it was a genius, because you might think of this when I say this, but when you're thinking about water and rocks, like rocks underneath the sand, rocks underneath the water as it flows over, if you've ever been near like a clean river, not like a dirty, murky river, if you've ever been near bright water, like clear water, or like a nice, beautiful, clean river. When we were in Germany and we went to Tegernsee, very clean lake. A lot of the lakes in Germany happen to have like see-through, and you can see the water is like genuinely this kind of color. If you see the way these bottles are for these Mancera, like the Oud Lemon Mint and the Blue Notes, that's kind of the color of the water in some of those lakes. Well, if you're near that kind of fresh, beautiful water, and you smell the rocks and the mineral scent coming, or if you're in a gem shop and you smell that mineral scent, that is what you get from this beautiful, earthy, mineral type of scent. And that's why I'm glad they named this what they did. With that being said, what do you think of Initio side effect? I'm glad that you asked that. And by the way, to anybody watching, just letting you know, I am officially about to end it. I'm going to see if I can make it to 3 whole hours, but at this moment, I am getting close to the point where I've got things I got to go do. Appreciate you guys for watching so far. I just got asked about Initio. I just got asked one more time about side effect from Initio, so I'm going to talk about this for a second. This is, again, one of my favorite fragrances, but if you take a whiff, Oud Lemon Mint, and describe it in 3 words, I will do that for you as soon as I'm done in just a second talking about Initio side effect. This is definitely a major, major powerhouse fragrance. I don't suggest Initios a lot, just like Tom Ford's. These are way better than Tom Ford's, even though I have a bunch of them. But I suggest Tom Ford's, but not so much the private batch, the little plastic bottles that cost a fortune. But these guys are very expensive. All Initio fragrances are extremely expensive, even if you get them off of discounters. So again, even though I spent the money on like Amouages and Xerjoffs, these babies right here, compared to a lot of fragrances, are like pretty pricey. But I will say that if you've got the money and you want to do it, you can't go wrong with these babies. Como estas, my friend? I don't speak much Spanish. I speak a little bit more German than in Japanese, and I do Spanish. And even then, I'm not super great at those things like on the spot. Although I will say, any of my friends who are watching who is a Spanish speaker or a German speaker, I'm not going to do any of that right now because I'm not very practiced up. But me and my wife just restarted studying all 3, Japanese, German, and Spanish, because we were studying for a while, but if you don't use it, you lose it. So I was kind of getting mediocre. I like the basics, and now I kind of lost it. I can remember stuff if I think about it. But I just want to say, if any of you guys watch and you ever want to throw anything out there in Deutsch or Nihongo or Espanol, please throw it out there. I'm not going to guarantee you that I can actually understand it, but I'll try. I'll try to do some stuff, and maybe you guys can actually help me practice at some point as I get more comfortable with it and get better. But anyway, como estás, my friend? To you, I think I'm supposed to say muy bien. So again, I'm like, it's been 3 hours almost. I'm a little out of it. But I will say real quickly, Initio side effect, fantastic tobacco, boozy type of fragrance, extremely strong, extremely powerful. it's going to be long lasting, but like I said, the price is just a little difficult for me to get over because this is like well over $300, depending on where you get to, like almost $400. But if you got the money, it is one of the best fragrances that I've ever smelled, and it is one of the most long-lasting, even on skin, fragrances. Now, my buddy asked me to do 3 words that I think about when I smell oud lemon mint, which, by the way, earlier I brought up Aaron Terrence Hughes. My friends here brought up Aaron Terrence Hughes, one of my absolute favorite fragrance YouTuber. And he's actually the person who I watched his review of oud lemon mint, and I was like, you know what? I'd like to do that. I'm going to go check out and see what he's got going on. So I will compare these 2 real quick. Cedrat Bois Intense by Mancera and Oud Lemon Mint by Mancera. I'm going to compare these babies real fast. I'm going to see about something, and you guys let me know if you can hear me. I keep holding this up to my mouth because I feel like I need to so that you guys can hear me very well. Let me know real quick if you guys can hear me very well when I hook this up. So can anybody, I'm doing just a little bit of a test. Let me know if you guys can still hear me okay. I know it's probably not as good as when it was held up to my mouth. I just want to be sure because I obviously can't do every video holding it up to my mouth. So before I do any comparisons, can somebody comment, yes, it's better? All right. Well, thank you guys for letting me know. It's the same. That's good enough for me. If it's the same, if it's performing just as well, then that's all. Thank you so much. I probably should have asked a very long time ago instead of shoving it all up in my face. Like, raw. But anyway, like I said, I'm new to this, so I'm just doing my best. I'm going to pop these caps off real quick. So, which one do you want me to smell first? I'm assuming you want me to do oud lemon mint. Less rustling. Well, thank you so much for letting me know that. I will be doing that from now on. That's what she said. That was very perfect. Thank you. By the way, that's probably just you cracking the joke. That's what she said. But I also, later this evening, I was literally thinking I'd like to watch The Office. You know what? I'm going to do a little spray of this real fast. So the first things that come to me when I smell oud lemon mint, I'm getting bright, citrus, comfort. I know it's probably not the word you're looking for, but when I smell this, my mind just goes to bright, citrus, and comfort. Because this doesn't smell like lemon pledge. That's why I didn't like French Riviera. Mancera's French Riviera didn't make me feel good. It smelled like laundry detergent in a way, and I know a lot of people are crazy about it. By the way, I'm sorry, I don't understand that Spanish right there. Then again, my mind's a little fried. But I'm going to practice, and next time, if you're here the next time, then anybody watching, like I said, going forwards, I'm going to start doing one stream every Wednesday morning. It's Wednesday morning here. I don't know what time it is for you guys. This might be the best time for me to do it. But from now on, every Wednesday, I'm going to try to do a live stream. So in between now and then, you guys get your questions ready and guys get your topics ready if there's anything you'd like to hear me talk about. I know you guys are probably going to think this is dumb, but since I talked about a little bit like God and stuff this time, next time I'm going to get a little bit deeper about that. And hey, buddy, hey, Alexandra. Next time I'm going to get a little bit deeper about that. And I'm also going to talk about stuff like ghosts and things like that. And ask you guys what you think about ghosts, aliens, all that stuff. Again, it has nothing to do with fragrances, but I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about here on my channel. So if you guys got any ideas about that kind of stuff, anything you like to talk about, I'd love to hear your thoughts. But we're not going to get too deep into that right now. To my buddy Tyler French, to Alexandra, hola. Again, I'm not too good at any Spanish right now. To my buddy Tyler French, I really appreciate you, and I definitely say you should totally get yourself some more Manceras. But real quick, like I said, lemon, bright, comfort. That's the first things I'm getting from oud lemon mint. Also earthy, but it's beautiful. It is, for the price range of this, like a lot of Manceras, this is just next level. It is worth the money. It's familiar in a way, very blue, very summery, even more summery than it is than I would say spring, because this is perfect. 10 out of 10. It isn't one of my favorite fragrances that I've ever smelled. I'd say this is more like a 9.2. Performance in this is insane. Most Mancera's performances are like absolutely ridiculous. This was $85, I think, $77 to $90, depending on where you get it. If you get this full price, it's like $100. If you get this like off of Fragrance Net or off of Max Aroma or somewhere like Joma's shop, I don't know Joma's shops. You guys have said it's trustworthy, so I'm sure you can recommend that.
But this, I think, is like 77 to 90 off of a discounter, a little over $100 at normal price. But this is powerful, very long lasting, goes forever. It's just unique. Just like Oud Blue Notes, which I also have. It says Oud, but they are, Sammy, extremely high quality. I'm going to show you guys also real quick before I go. So I've got Oud Blue Notes. They say Oud on them, the Oud Lemon Mint, Oud Blue Notes. They say Oud on them, but to be honest with you, it doesn't really have like an oud scent to it, but that's okay. It's just got like a bit of an agarwood, which is another term for oud, basically. Just a little bit different formulation of the resin. Not that there's real oud in these at all anyway, it's more like an accord. But it's mostly just a term going for that woodsy underfeel compared to like cedar or something. But real quick, I'm going to say this. Manceras are very high quality. This one as well, Oud Blue Notes, highly recommend it. They're spelled funny. Instead of regular Oud, they've got an A. Highly recommend these by Mancera because, again, they're in that $70 to $90 price range, and they're amazing. How does it compare to Cedrat Bois Intense? All right. So, again, the Oud Lemon Mint, very bright, very citrus. But you asked me about Cedrat Bois Intense. I love this one. So, to be straight up with you, this is just pure Aventus DNA. If you really want to know, they're not the same at all. Oud Lemon Mint versus Cedrat Bois Intense, or the original Cedrat Bois, they're not the same. You can't really call them the same thing. I know that there's people, I've seen actual videos of people saying that these are like interchangeable almost. They're not. They're both great for summer fragrances. But Cedrat Bois Intense is just straight to the core, its own take on that Aventus idea. Creed Aventus did the woodsy pineapple deal, right? Not lemon, more pineapple. We all know that. Why all fragrance people so chopped? I don't know what that means. Why all fragrance people so chopped? I'm not sure. If you could explain what you mean by that, I could then explain to you. But as far as why we all so chopped, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But if you're talking about karate chopping, I do move my hands a lot when I talk, so I apologize about that. But LOL, I have no idea what that means. Me neither. But at the end of the day, that's okay, because you're still welcome here, my friend, and you're welcome to ask me questions and clarify if you can. Maybe that was a typo. But anyway, Cedrat Bois, definitely that Creed Aventus DNA. I personally don't like Creed fragrances because their performance is just not that great, but these ones are. So I've got a couple here that have that DNA, although they're supposed to be like a different take on them. At least that's what they say. So this is one that I saw recently on Curly Fragrance. I don't think he's talking about karate chopping. I don't think so either. And I'm not making fun of you, by the way, to my buddy who asked about the chop thing. I just don't know what you meant by that. But you please comment and let me know what you mean by that, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't think he's talking about karate chopping either, but who knows. But anyway, so Amir by Latafa, I think that's how you say this. This guy right here is supposed to be that Creed DNA. Then you've got Hawas Black, which I just got in the other day. And then lastly, Intense Cedrat Bois by Mancera. Is the best dupe of Aventus? Absolutely not. People ask about Club de Nuit Intense all the time. Budget fragrance for spring and summer. Budget fragrance for spring and summer, I'll answer that really quickly. So, Cedrat Bois Intense by Mancera or Hawas Black. Or if you want to go up with price just a little bit, you can get Versace Eros Energy. Perfect lemon balm for spring. If you want to spend a little bit more, if you're looking towards like the $80 to $90 range, or even a little bit cheaper than that, depending on where you get it, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. But Versace Eros Energy, Hawas Black, Latafa Amir, Cedrat Bois, all that pineapple feel to them. And then lastly, my absolute current favorite budget summer fragrance is Hadlage Island, because I have and absolutely love Le Beau Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier. But this is that perfect coconut. I hate saying pina colada because pina colada makes me think more pineapple. This is like coconut milk with some pizzazz is the way I would say it. So fantastic budget summer fragrances right there. But yeah, just to finish up to my other friend about this right here. You know, the CD whatever, the Club de Nuit, not my favorite fragrance at all. It's not bad, but it just wasn't my favorite. As far as a good Aventus type of feel, and they all perform like 1,000 times better than Aventus anyways. So even though a lot of times, like with Xerjoffs and Amouages, I won't tell people to go get dupes, get the real thing because you want that strong performance. If I am going to tell people to save your money because some companies just ain't worth it, one of these days I'll be walking down the street and somebody from Creed's going to walk up and be like, why you keep dumping on me? I'm sorry. Those fragrances aren't terrible. They just don't perform for the price that you guys charge. But for these other companies, these guys right here are exactly, you know, that pineapple woodsy feel. They're almost identical. I don't have this bottle anymore, but I do want to bring up that Mont Blanc Explorer is a pretty good. I don't wear Mont Blanc stuff for the most part because they're a little bit more, somehow, even though Hawas is so cheap, it's less synthetic smelling than even like the Mont Blanc fragrances are to me. I had Spirit, Legend, and all that other stuff. But for me personally, I just don't recommend it. So Hawas Black. So again, this is just my opinion. I'm going to throw this out there. And, you know, hopefully nobody dumps all over me and goes, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. But if you are a fan of Club de Nuit, which again, I'm not because it's a bad fragrance. It's just not really my style. But it's only because it's a little bit sharper on a certain synthetic lemon feel that makes it last very long. Club de Nuit lasts very long. It's just not my style. To me, a little bit smoother, but just as good price range. Absolutely perfect for that Creed Aventus type DNA. But my absolute favorite lemon woodsy scent is definitely Versace Eros Energy, because it just is a bit more sweet candy while still maintaining that lemon type of woodsy feel. So yeah, I would say if you already like Club de Nuit, I'm not going to tell you you'll like this better because you might just really love it so much it speaks to you. But I would recommend getting yourself a bottle of Hawas Black because it will perform for you in an incredible way and you can't go wrong with it. With that being said, Lattafa is the budget fragrance, had 3 of them and always got surprised. I say so because for me, Lattafa's price range is, especially depending on where you get it from, it's fantastic. I really, really, really do love. I'm going to show you some of my favorite Lattafas right now, okay, while I'm still here. I'm going to try Hawas Black. 100% recommend it, my friend. Douglas, another dark, sweet recommendation is Plum and Cognac by Scents of Wood. Very, well, I'm glad you suggested that because I love plum in fragrances. I love sweet, like I said, boozy and plum stuff. So thank you so much for recommending that because you've been really helping me a lot today with bringing up good fragrances for me to try. So I appreciate you. But yeah, my favorite Lattafas, I'm going to run through real quick. Like I said, I keep talking about Lattafa Hamra and Hamra Kawa because these are just perfect, like just letting you guys know. A lot of people say that these, I have Angel Share by Killian if you guys want to see it, but these bad boys right here are not that. People call this a dupe of Angel Share by Killian. Just throwing this out there. If you want something that's super duper cheap but smells almost like the real thing, but I don't like this at all, that's Kismet's Magic. It's a cheap Angel Share Killian thing that smells the closest to that like boozy, but I don't like it all that much. And then again, I don't really love Angel Share by Killian just because there's something about the type of sweetness that doesn't feel good to my nose, but other people love it, and that's okay. But when I got these, just to see if these guys were in any way, shape, or form real comparisons, these blew my mind. These could make their way into my top 10 because I love gourmand, I love sugar cookie snickerdoodle type of feel, and these are that to a T. So I prefer Kawa over the original, and I'm also going to get the new Hamra soon because the new one just came out, and I think that it's like Dukan or something like that. I don't know. But for the price range, these are like my absolute favorite Lattafas. But there's a few other Lattafas that I say are fantastic. I did an unboxing the other day of this bad boy. Yes, Hamra Kawa is fantastic. But I just got Eternal Oud in, and I want you guys to know that not only is this bottle fantastic and really fun, this fragrance is dummy good. Like, it makes me think about like late 80s. I wasn't there. I was born in the 90s. But this makes me think when I watch like old Weekend at Bernie's or like 80s movies and stuff, there's always that luxurious dude who's wearing a nice suit walking down the street. That's for some reason what this makes me think of. It's like time traveling to the 80s or to the 90s or something and being very, very wealthy. It doesn't smell oody like Hayat by Xerjoff is like an extremely true to the core oody type of fragrance. This just smells very, very expensive for the price range. I think this was like $19 when I got this. It's a little bit more expensive than full price, but it was on sale at the time. But Lattafa's Eternal Oud, cool bottle. I thought it was going to be more tacky when you see it online, but when it came in person, very cool bottle. But overall, this is a fantastic scent profile. So if you get the chance, this is very well compatible for most people. I'd say it's nearly mass appealing. Another Lattafa that I'm Cocoa Puffs about very recently is Assad Bourbon. A lot of people say that the original Assad is supposed to be, I guess they say that the original Assad is supposed to be kind of sort of like the Dior Sauvage Elixir. I didn't really get that too much, but it's kind of like it. But I didn't like it that much. Like I said, if you want a good Dior Sauvage type of thing, save up the money for the real deal or get Guisada's Ambassador Intense. But this Assad, Lattafa Bourbon, this is like, what does this remind me of? Oh, I don't want to spray anything else. I've already got so much stuff on me from trying stuff out, but this is just a little creamy, delicious, boozy type of sweet feel that I highly say if you're going to get like a Lattafa and you want something sweet that's also good and powerful, this is a good choice right here, Assad Bourbon. So those are like some of my current favorite Lattafa fragrances. I don't know if I've got any more that I really want to talk about at this moment, but like I said, the Amir is pretty good. With all that being said, I am about to wrap it up shortly. It's been 3 hours. This is as much time almost as I could possibly give to you guys. But this is literally, let me see if I can turn this around real quick. So again, this is my collection at this time. I appreciate every single one of you guys who've been watching. Appreciate my video. And sorry about showing you guys my closet, but this is my collection so far. I've got so many that I haven't taken the time to even be able to review or talk about just yet, because I'm not just trying to post a review every single day. But if you guys have anything you'd like to see or see me talk about or whatever, please let me know, and I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you guys next week when I jump on and do another stream. But please like, comment, subscribe, check out my other videos, share my videos to other pages, to Reddit, wherever you're willing to do so, and help me get myself out there if you like what I'm doing. So I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.